Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
What time is it?
Oh boy, 8 or 5:40 on the nuts.
5:40, and it's been a hell of a day already. Before we even crack the damn mics, poor Cubby over there, Josh, who's ready to be 50 years old here in a couple of weeks. He's sprawled out underneath our broadcast console here like he's an auto mechanic or playing puppy mechanic. Sprawled out underneath the console. He's trying to fix our latest printer. We go through a lot of printers. The printer died on us this morning. Josh, zeep, he goes underneath the damn console, and then it happened. He hit his little head.
I had probably 4 or 5 times I had to go. First, I had to run around and find a screwdriver. The good news is, as of last Friday, we no longer have an engineer that works here, so we're on our own. True story.
Great.
So I figured out it's complicated how to even open these things. They've got like protective screws on there, so I'm trying to find the right screwdriver. Finally, I get it, and I don't know, on the 4th attempt, because our printer kept messing up, I hit my head, and I hit it on like this sharp metal piece.
Perfect.
There was a loud thud from underneath the table. Josh hit his little noggin.
And then Ashley said, I knew that was going to happen.
Yep.
I never did. I didn't predict it. I thought I was safe.
He doesn't need smart-ass comments when he's under. He hit his head.
I was waiting for it.
I knew that was going to happen. Do you have a concussion?
No, I don't think so.
I think you have a concussion.
No, I don't think so.
Are you confused?
No, I don't think so.
Sexually confused?
Yes.
Is your speech slurred?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, I'll keep
I
an
just
eye on
have
it.
one response I can say, though. And then I was telling the guys there's a mystery going around.
What is that?
Somebody peed all over my shorts in the bathroom.
Well, why would they do that?
I can't figure out who it was. All of a sudden, I walked away from the urinal. Now, keep in mind, I was on my phone, not paying any attention. And then I noticed somebody peed all over the front of them.
So you've wet yourself as well.
Somebody else did. It was.
So it wasn't even like a dribbling situation where, you finished up, everything was good, and then a couple more drops came out. You straight up just peed on the shorts a little bit?
Yeah, and my shoes.
Oh, perfect.
It went everywhere. I wasn't paying attention.
You're having a hell of a day right now.
I know. It's been something else.
We hope our glorious listening audience is doing well. Welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show. I think Josh will be all right. I'm going to keep an eye on you, though. Don't fall asleep. That's what I've always heard. If you fall asleep with a concussion, you wake up dead.
That's what happened to me. I mean, I didn't die, but I wasn't allowed to go to sleep, and it was awful.
So, Dana, no long stories out of you. We got to keep Josh awake this morning.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
They told you.
Let's move on to a different topic.
Don't tell us what you did over the weekend. Nothing like that.
You had a concussion when you were a kid, and they told your folks, don't let this kid fall asleep or he'll be dead.
Basically, yeah. They said stay up all night, and usually when you're a kid, you want to hear that, but I was so exhausted. It came from a soccer game, got kicked straight in the head. I believe it was intentional. And had to go to the doctor. I could not remember anything that had happened that day. And they said, don't let him go to sleep. So I had to stay up all night watching movies with my parents.
You got good parents that they stayed up with you.
Who got to pick the movies?
I did.
All right.
Even with a concussion? I bet there's some weird stuff.
Well, no, I remember specifically one of them was Talented Mr. Ripley with Matt Damon, which is a very boring movie. Not a movie you should watch if you're trying to stay awake because of concussion potential problems.
It's that's kind of a long played out mystery type of a movie.
Exactly, yeah.
I never saw that. It looked kind of boring.
It was, yeah. And you can imagine why I especially wanted to go to sleep while trying to watch it. But I was like, oh, Matt Damon's cool. He's in Rounders and some other good movies. And
it is long, Josh, but it's dark and creepy and evil, and so I enjoy it. So anyway,
well, if it makes you feel better, Dana, that whole myth about staying awake has been debunked.
I'm not
for a
testing
while.
it, but are you willing to risk it? I'm not willing to risk it. We got to keep Josh away. Hey! I saw that.
I dozed off for a second.
I'm serious.
I'm just trying to sneak
No
it
way.
in. I haven't been sleeping well at all, and then this doesn't help.
He just started closing his eyes and dipping his head forward, dude. I mean, really, you hit your head hard.
Yeah, I was sleepy.
All right, so
My oldest Cam, he had a concussion from hockey once, and it was the same type of thing. We're like, hey, stay awake. So you're saying that's not a thing anymore?
No, they say there's no need to
I'm
do
not
that
taking
now.
the
This
chance.
mysterious day. I bet they're the same people that peed on my shorts.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a chance. What's funny is, so I'm doing the show prep thing. Josh, he's underneath the console. Boom, he hits his head.
Yeah, you're trying to print, and you're stuck. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to try and fix this
Appreciate you making that kind of effort because I'm not getting under the table here. I'd never make it back out again. You are much more physically fit than I am, so I guess you were the right man for the job. But what's so funny about it, interesting about it to me, is as I'm sitting over here show prepping, I was reading some kind of a cute, hip new conversation going on social media. The theme of it is state your age and something you've recently realized you're too old to do anymore. And I was thinking, Josh, 49 years old, too old to fix a printer from up under the table. It was just perfect timing. I'm reading this article about things you're too old to do anymore, and boom, you had your little accident there. So
Well, it's funny because yesterday...
you're a very young 49.
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
Yes.
Although I'm not. Yesterday, I was going to dust the baseboards at our house.
Dust the baseboards.
Yeah.
I don't know what a baseboard is.
On the floor? Like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Well, who does that? Why would you do that?
Well, because they need it.
Oh.
And so I go down there to start, and I told my wife, I'm like, you're going to have to take over. I can't do this. I can't bend over like this. I'm getting lightheaded. But I did okay down here. I don't know why.
Well,
I've got $20 in my wallet for the first person that smells my shorts.
that's not happening. No.
I'm getting married soon. I'm coming in the studio right now.
Here's the truth. I lied. I have $40, but I need the other 20 just
You're
in case
acting
I pee
weird.
my shorts again.
You're acting weird right now.
Well, I got hit in the head.
Yeah. Again, I'll keep a close eye on the kid over here. Feel free, by the way, 651-989-9393 if you want to be part of the conversation that I was just telling you about. All you have to do is state your age and something you've recently realized you're too damn old for. Oh, man, the list is long for me. Long. But for Josh, I guess it's dusting baseboards, which is a brand new household chore I've never heard of, and crawling up under our printer. You took one for the team, I guess you could say.
Well,
I was worried
printer
when
doesn't even work, does it?
No,
What's that?
it works.
Oh, it does
I
work?
just have
It's back to business?
All I have to do is unplug it every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Super fun.
It's working for me. It's not really working for anybody else. A total pain in the ass.
I was
And-
worried when Ashley came in because the way I was in position to you looked kind of intimate.
in position to me.
To where you're sitting and where I had to get on my knees and get underneath it. If a certain angle might have looked like there was something nefarious going on, or our relationship's different than maybe they had assumed.
That didn't even cross my mind.
Totally
goodness.
different lick to the head.
She's seen weirder things in that studio, let's be honest.
Probably.
Too bad that you're in the state that you're in, Josh, and we're going to try to keep you awake, because I was reading that today is National Napping Day, which goes along the lines with what happened yesterday. What do they call it again?
Daylight saving time?
Daylight savings. Yesterday, day before. Today's National Napping Day. Someone else tells me it's National Mario Brothers Day.
Yeah, March 10th.
Oh, yeah.
Why is this? Why are we celebrating the Mario
March,
Brothers?
so M-A-R and then 1-0. Kind of looks like Mario.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Today's actually a great day to get a concussion because Dr. P's going to be joining us later on, so maybe he can give me a real workup.
Put you through concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Shining lights in your eyes, asking you where you're at, who you are.
Anybody trained for that here?
No.
No, but we had
I used to know how to do it.
we had Dr. Andrew in last week to give a live puppy update for Nick's dog Gertie, kind of go through a checkup. Maybe we can have Dr. P do the same thing with Josh.
I want the same thing where he goes from snout to tail.
Yes.
Just like she did. I want the exact same workup.
Well, what do they say these days? if you played youth sports, odds are you probably collected 4 or 5, 2, 3 concussions if you ended up playing, as a full-blown adult.
Shoot, if you just played outdoors. I'm confident I had at least 3.
Yeah, King of the Mountain would give you a concussion
Been knocked
back
out
in the
twice.
day.
I suppose I forgot about just horsing around as a kid, playing tag. We used to play a game called, I'm sure it's named differently in every neighborhood, but we called it Hope to See the Ghost Tonight. What was your game called where you ran around and there was a home
Ghost in the graveyard?
Ghost,
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go. Oh, I didn't even consider that. Yeah, when you were a little kid, you're knocking into trees and then youth sports, and let's say maybe you played D2, D3 football, hockey, whatever, even D.
Well, back in the day, if you fell off your bike, you weren't wearing a helmet, where that's a
Right.
lot different now.
Right, so, I mean, we've all collected a handful of them for sure.
Definitely. And they used to just hand you an ice pack.
Right.
Send you back out there.
Yeah, gosh. I used to have like an affinity for metal poles at recess. My head just like gravitated towards them.
You would slam into these metal poles at high rates of speed?
Yeah, to a point where I think that's the only reason why kids would invite me to play tag.
To watch you go down?
Yeah, it was awful. Me and the nurse were homies because of it.
The first time I ever knocked myself out was on a clothesline pole.
Yeah.
And then I ended up dancing. It just it knocked something into me where now it's a passion.
When you
Now-
woke,
Now I need to pole dance.
when you woke up, you had you were drawn to the pole.
I sure was.
Oh, yeah, Ashley, I get it. I mean, if you're going to destroy yourself daily at recess, I'd invite you to get involved in every damn thing that we do.
Yeah, it made sense. I mean, it wasn't great at the time for my self-esteem.
The other
but-
kids said, well, why are we asking her to play? And another kid said, just wait.
She's
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
a fainting goat.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
sucked.
coming.
My poor head.
It's coming.
Did they have YouTube when you were doing this?
No,
It wasn't
I don't
around
think
yet?
so. It wasn't like a popular thing by any means.
So today is Mario Day. All right, you're supposed to celebrate the Mario Brothers video game. March 10th, Mario Day, also Napping Day.
I want to. I was thinking about getting a gaming console again to play Guitar Hero.
Oh,
Yesterday, I saw a video of this guy, and is it Through the Flames and the Fire? I'm sure somebody can help me out.
someone who hasn't taken a terrible shot to the cranium.
Yes, my memory's a little gone.
Right.
It looked like he was just faking it. Looked like he was just hitting buttons, but he set some sort of record. He did it like on 200%, and it looked ridiculous. I'm going to find this so we could post it.
You want to go back and get, what was that, the Wii?
At the time, we had a Wii, yes.
Okay, and you want to go back?
But you can get it for anything now. And I was looking, I know this is old news for people who play, but it's new for me. I haven't thought about it in years. Like some of the guitars they have now available are awesome.
Yeah.
Like they look really cool, and they're wireless at this point.
Well, yeah, go.
It seemed fun.
So what, you want to try to chase this guy's record? Or
Oh,
just-
no way. I was never that good. Never. I mean, I was okay. I could play expert on a couple songs, tops, but
You could play, I mean, that's the thing, is you could play a real guitar, specifically Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas.
kids don't care.
And the kids in the neighborhood didn't care. That's an old South Park reference. Anyway, go ahead, find the old Guitar Hero. That game had me hooked for an hour and a half.
Oh, really?
And then I could not possibly care less about it.
I was obsessed for maybe 2 months. I absolutely. And then we got Rock Band.
Okay,
that
I
what
remember
it's
that.
called?
The
Yep.
full like drum kit and everything.
Yeah, where it came with the drum
Yeah.
kit. That was fun.
I like that a lot better. That was cool because, I don't know, we had one singer, we had a drummer, we had a guitar player. Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah.
We played it here in the building. We actually drew a crowd, which
That's
was just the
ridiculous.
dumbest damn thing in the whole world. But it was a brand new game. Everyone wanted to see the game. We had a chance to play it right out of the box. And Josh and I and someone else. But the sales staff actually came over here and watched us as if we were a real band. I hope you can find an old Guitar Hero. I played More Than a Feeling by Boston 3-4 times, put it down, never touched it again.
So Babyface Destroyer, Jesus said that dude looked like he had 15 fingers. You saw the video too. I mean, and he's like tapping, right? So he's using 2 hands. It's so fast. Honestly, it looks like he's just hitting things and it's working. I don't even know how your brain works that fast. It's not just the concussion talking.
Right.
I don't know how your brain works that fast.
I saw the same video, Josh.
Oh, you did? The long-haired dude?
Yeah, and it said it took him over 50,000 attempts to do that.
Yeah, he's 9 months and 50,000 attempts.
Well, Dana,
That's doing too much.
You're a total dork when it comes to video games. You could probably find Josh an old Guitar Hero console or whatever he needs.
I could track that down pretty easily. Absolutely.
Well, don't hurt yourself.
Okay, More Anxiety Than Hair Jesus said, Through the Fire and the Flames from Dragon Force. That's the song.
Oh.
And if this video is really old, I apologize. Yesterday's the first time I saw it.
Once I rose above the noise and confusion. They say here on National Napping Day, I always get a kick out of this stuff. Experts recommend a 20 to 30-minute nap to feel energized. I'm so tired of this. These are the same people that tell us if you're 5'11", if you weigh more than 110 pounds, you're obese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be realistic here. 20 to 30-minute nap? Are you nuts? I'm just getting friggin' warmed up. That's not a nap. That's a blink of an eye.
That's about where I am.
I don't know how you can live like that.
I try and
it
go
doesn't
longer.
do anything to me.
Oh,
Sometimes an hour.
Well, I guess my OBGYN is not an expert at all because she said that my 2-3 hour naps are perfect.
oh, good for her. Him
I
or
wanted
her.
to kiss her on the mouth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bond with you, Ashley, in many ways. We have a lot in common. One of the things is we both, when we go down for a nap, it's anybody's guess if we ever come to again.
Yes.
So we agree on that. I can't stand it when I read these supposed experts and these folks who say a 20 to 30-minute nap is doable. You're crazy.
Back to Guitar Hero. Thank you, brother and sisterhood. They're coming out with a new one, so people are telling me to wait.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Get yourself one of those cool guitars.
Yeah, I'm definitely in support of that, Josh, because every time you get a new gaming console, you end up not using it, and then you end up giving it to somebody else that wants it. So hopefully,
You're talking about me
I'm in
personally?
line this time. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. I have done that several times. Trades worker Jesus said a 20-minute nap. I do that every morning driving to and from work.
Yeah. That is such nonsense. You want to hear some more? If you're not a napper, and I don't know why you wouldn't be.
I don't on the weekends. I try during the weekdays. Do you guys on the weekends?
It's gotten to the point now where it's 6 days out of 7.
Is it?
Yep.
Like
Yeah, I'd say
Saturdays
so.
or
Yeah.
Sundays?
It depends on what I did to myself on Friday or Saturday night.
Okay.
But yeah, I used to be that type of a cat where on the weekends, nah, I don't need a nap. Now, hell yes. If it happens, it happens. Sometimes I try, sometimes I don't. Okay, here's more on National Napping Day that might frustrate you. If you're not a napper, you can still celebrate by going to bed earlier tonight. Okay, cute. But they say, and you can more easily get there, meaning going to bed earlier, if that's difficult for you, you can more easily reach that goal by exercising a little bit this evening.
Nah.
These friggin' experts.
I'm okay.
Have they never met any of us? You know what I mean? No, we're not going to exercise this evening.
Maybe they're trying to make you feel bad.
That usually wakes me up.
Yeah, I've heard exercise before bed is not the best move.
Oh, really? Every day it's different. Every single day is different. One of the things they mentioned is how if you take about an hour nap, you wake up exhausted. And I do too.
I do too. I get groggy, Josh.
Yeah, I'm more tired if I take an hour-long nap than just in the morning if I didn't get much sleep the night before for whatever reason. Like I feel about 40 pounds heavier.
Oh, I'm so glad I don't have that problem.
Not at all. It's crazy how so many people say that daylight savings completely ruins their day, 2 days, 3 days.
It ruined my fiance's day yesterday because he woke up hungover, so he could have really used that extra hour of sleep.
Oh,
You know, yesterday, some years maybe I'll notice it, but yesterday not at all. Yesterday felt like the new time it said it was, right? Like it never, at 3 p.m. I didn't think, boy, it sure feels like 2 p.m. It felt like 3 p.m. to me. And
Sure.
later last night it was kind of the same thing. But I know sometimes you'll notice a difference.
I've known people over the years who, even by Tuesday or Wednesday, they're still saying, boy, that daylight savings thing really has me thrown. Well, what the hell?
What do you mean?
I don't understand.
I don't know if this person wants me to read their Jesus name, so I'll leave it out just in case. They say I'm a crane operator. Every day's National Nap Day. Yeah, you're way up there by yourself. I can see that. Just so you got a beautiful view.
I never would have thought to throw that in to a conversation about the, how should I say it, the most nappable professions.
Yeah, it's got to be up there.
I would have thought I'm going to be on high alert at all times if I'm a crane operator because of the potential damage I could do with the smallest mistake. But I'm happy to hear that you folks are able to get some rest up there in that cool machine.
I wonder if, like, a driver, if you're somebody that just drives, like an over-the-road trucker or something, that's got to be tough to stay awake at times. I don't know how many hours you drive. Well, do you know, like, your dad did it?
Yeah, I could tell you some stories. I mean, there were limits on how many hours they could drive.
So it'd be like your boss says you can only drive this amount of hours.
And then you are ordered to get a certain amount of time off before you get back behind the wheel again. Now, I don't know if that always was the case in my old man's truck driving career. He did it for over 40 years. I doubt there were stipulations like that early in his career, but towards the end, there was a certain amount of hours you could drive, and then a certain amount of hours you had to rest or take off before you got back behind the wheel again.
I'm glad they have that. That's smart.
Yeah, what's really frightening is one of my oldest pals has, what's the term for folks who can fall asleep
Narcolepsy?
on their feet? Narcolepsy?
Yeah.
Absolutely 100% is a narcoleptic, but yet got a driving job right out of school and held a driving job for many years.
Did okay, though? Well, I suppose if he held his job.
He, as far as I know, he never had an accident on the road, but in his personal life, we wouldn't let him drive. Unless he just drank buckets of coffee, he just would fall asleep.
I would
That's
have.
terrifying.
I had a couple of years in my life where it was like that. I mean, I was, burning the candle at both ends.
Right.
So,
I've never had a problem behind the wheel. Never. Well,
I was late nights out late. So it was about 2 years I had a problem.
Once. That's. I mean, yeah, everybody's different. So, one time, I was, but this wasn't. I was still drunk, really. I know it sounds terrible. But this was when we used to broadcast from Mankato for stupid Vikings training camp that we hated so much. Mm-hmm. And I got myself wildly drunk the night before we were to leave for Mankato. So we had to leave extra early, like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I got completely inebriated at a Cinderella concert, got about 2 hours sleep, drove down to Mankato, and on the way down, I felt fine. Because I was still I know I was still drunk. On the way home from our broadcast, that's when, I'm slapping myself in the face. I'm screaming out the lyrics to the song on the radio.
Did you have your windows down?
Everything's
rolled
down.
Yeah, I've been there.
I hate that feeling so much.
But I don't think that even counts because I had abused myself so terribly the night before. When you just naturally day to day struggle to keep yourself awake behind the wheel, that's a totally different animal, and wow, I bet that's difficult.
I drove to Madison once for a booty call, and on the way back, I had a 2-liter of Mountain Dew, and that didn't work, so I stopped again, and I drank 3 5-hour energies, which is 15 hours of energy.
That's a lot of energy, man.
Your poor heart.
And I thought I was going to die. I've never felt like that before. And it's not the brand's fault. That was me drinking way too much. I think it even says on the bottle, don't have 15 hours of energy.
Yeah, it
after a
definitely
2-liter
does,
of Dew.
dude. They definitely do not want you drinking that much.
Now, here's someone who definitely felt the time change because they have 2-year-old toddlers at home. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Medical device Jesus has texted in about something called road hypnosis.
Oh, sure.
What is that?
I don't know.
So, I couldn't give you exact details, but it's something about, like, the sound of the road and then maybe, I don't know, even the lines I've heard. Like the dotted lines can kind of mess with
Hypnotize you and possibly put you to sleep? I'll have to look this up. Again, my late father, over-the-road truck driver his whole life. I never heard him say anything about road hypnosis. But then again, he didn't do a lot of reading in his free time. What else are people saying about
This is really interesting.
Yeah, here is Ronan Engineer Jesus. I'm 56 years old. I've napped maybe 10 times in my entire adult life.
Dang.
Hey, everybody's built different.
That
I
used to
just
be
started
me.
a couple
I'd be
years ago.
dead.
I think the first 2 or 3 years I worked here, I was never a napper. I could never nap, and then something just drastically changed. And now, if I don't have a nap, I just become a terrible human being.
Goat Trucking Jesus said, don't ever tell a trucker you're glad to hear there's rules for how long they can drive. You'll get punched in the nose. Oh, really? I thought you'd like that if the boss is like, yeah, you can't work past this.
My old man never argued with it.
Yeah, get back to me. Let me know why that is, and I apologize. I assumed that would be a good thing for you.
Evil Garbage Man Jesus said, 11 hours driving, 10 hours rest is the law. Never heard my old man bitch about it. He didn't have a problem with the rules and regulations. I think because as soon as that 11 hours was up, he knew he had 10 hours to drink beer and sit around and have fun with his trucker buddies. So
A lot of people know about highway hypnosis. I
Highway
had
hypnosis.
no idea until today.
all right, I'm going to look that up. It's always fun to learn something new. Dr. P. Jesus coming in a little bit later. We'll have him give you a thorough exam, Josh. He'll be here
I
around
could use it.
8:20 or so, and we'll encourage you a little bit later to text in if you have questions about your friggin' health issues. There you go. We're back. Feeling all right. Well, 3 out of the 4 of us are feeling all right. And we'll get to the stupid news when we return here on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, everybody. What a crowd. Today is National Napping Day. To quote Smokey from the hit documentary Friday, take advantage, man. Take advantage. We got to talking about napping. We also got to talking about falling asleep behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. Here's a listener by the name of Kung Fu Chef. How stupid. Kung Fu Chef Jesus. He said he fell asleep behind the wheel, woke up in a ditch. Went to the doctor, had a sleep study. Turns out he has horrible sleep apnea, got a CPAP, and it changed his life.
You always hear that, right? I've never heard anybody say, it did nothing for me.
I was so upset when I found out that I didn't qualify for a sleep apnea machine. I thought for sure I was going to be given the biggest and baddest sleep apnea model known to man.
Yeah, it was surprising, too. I thought you would just be, like, patient number one. They'd be like, oh, gosh, what have you been waiting for?
But they said, no, you're all right. No, I don't know if you can still go ahead and get one. Is there a sleep apnea machine black market I could get my hands on?
Probably.
That's where you want to get it.
Yeah.
But you're right, Josh. Everybody I know that's ever been assigned one of those machines says, It'll totally change your life for the better. Now, as far as napping goes, some people say 20 to 30 minutes is all you need. What are you, from Mars or something? That's insane. Got a few messages about napping. Troublemaker Jesus. That's a tough one. He separates it for some reason. Troublemaker Jesus. He said, if I lay down for a nap and you wake me up before I get 2 or 3 hours, I wake up swinging.
I'm the same way. I turn into such a D-bag.
All right, a couple of people have had a different experience with the CPAP machine. Jackrabbit Jesus said he went, got the sleep study done. They tried it, and it got worse. His sleep was actually worse.
My God.
I wonder if it's just because how uncomfortable those things look.
What did they put in his machine?
Yeah, it might be tough getting used to.
Maybe some of those smelling salts.
Oh,
Oh, my God.
Go F yourself, Jesus. Had a CPAP, and it didn't do anything for him.
well.
Oh, yeah. So a few people are now saying that. One wire nut Jesus said
That's
the
a
same
ripoff.
thing.
Sorry, I blew up. Gamer Jesus texted in on napping, and he says, my philosophy with naps are like this. I'm lying down, and God can decide when I should wake up.
Heck yeah.
What is her name again? I lost it, damn it. I think maybe it was Snot Rocket? Jesus? I can't recall. This is one of our Sheeses. She said, I nap often. I'll ruin a whole day with a nap. Anywhere between 3 and 7 hours is my sweet spot.
Okay, that's a sleep. That's no longer a nap.
Call it what you want. I'm going to get one. And also today is some kind of Mario holiday. Mario Brothers, the video game. You know the joke, I'm sure, Dana. You ready? I'm going to set you up.
Bring it to me.
What kind of overalls does Mario wear?
Oh, I don't think I know this one.
Okay, well, then someone's going to have to explain it to me. Denim.
Oh,
Denim. It's got to be like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the original Mario Brothers. When you go to the sewer levels, that's the song that plays.
Sing it to me again, Josh.
Denim.
Rings a bell. Okay. Mario Day for you video game enthusiasts. We're going to get today's stupid news gangbang going with something for you filthy nose pickers. Like you, Josh. I saw that.
I am not a nose. Did you?
You were just picking your nose.
But I moved. You could see that from that angle?
I saw it from from underneath your computer.
Well, you kind of ruined it. I'm making something for Dana for his wedding.
Oh, gosh.
I'm getting some building materials.
God.
I've been slowly assembling something for your wedding.
Filthy nose pickers. Well, here's the deal. Everybody throws a finger up there now and again. It's the easiest way to correct a problem. You can't always be near a box of Kleenex. You disgusting booger eaters are the ones that I'm really worried about, but I don't want to get into that conversation.
Never done that.
Oh,
By the way, Ashley, I'm building something for your son as well.
No, thanks. I'm good on that.
I really want to give it to you.
You can keep that.
building.
I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to give it to you.
Nose picking. It happens. But be careful. Don't overdo it. Or you might end up like this crazy bastard from over there in effing China. Dude needed what they call here emergency surgery because he smooth busted a facial artery from obsessively picking his nose portal.
Ouch. I bet that hurts so bad.
Yeah, he must have gotten up in there.
His wife, and I'm sure he was pumped to find this out, his wife shared his story with strangers on that godless, evil, uninformed social media.
That's a violation of trust.
It is. The story she told was like this here. She said her husband had, quote, always loved picking his nose. What a hobby, huh? She said whether he was standing, sitting, lying in bed, he would always be fingering his damn nose. Recently, while he was about 2 knuckles deep, he triggered a serious nosebleed that simply wouldn't stop. he was spraying out plasma like he was in a Kill Bill movie. And the two of them went off to the hospital together as a married couple, where doctors told the dude that he had fingered his nose hole so thoroughly, so deep, that he nicked an artery, and they had to get him ready for emergency surgery to fix the damage.
I had no clue that was possible.
I woke up once picking my nose. I don't know what kind of dream I was having, but my finger was right up there.
Honestly,
So confusing.
Yeah, I won't forget because it was the weirdest thing. I woke up, I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
in your dream?
Yeah, I must have been. I don't know.
Well, but in your dream, were you putting your fingers?
Oh. No.
This dude's wife, the nose picker, she filmed the entire hospital experience, if and you want to look that up. And apparently, there's a portion in the video. Ashley, I thought you would appreciate this. Part of the video, dude's laid out in the hospital bed after his operation. And the wife gets all smart-assed with him. Apparently, she was saying to him, why don't you go ahead and pick your nose again? Why don't you go ahead, get up, pick your nose again. Try it again, will you?
Oh, my God.
Well, but she's tired of being with a nose picker, and she has very little sympathy, I think, for the guy, because she probably warned him over and over again.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Could
And
just divorce the guy and let him follow his true passion.
That seems extreme, but sounds like you're working on some excuses to divorce your future wife.
I dig this gal's vibe that she would chew him out like that after. We had to rush to the hospital. You're bleeding all over our house. We had to rush to the hospital in the middle of the night because you can't stop fingering your nose. So I dig that she got mad at him.
This person brings up a good point. There's worse places your fingers can go while you're asleep. Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. It stopped there from what I know. It's you mentioned the blood in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Anytime I think of that movie, that's what comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to think about
All the blood in that thing. That's the first time I realized you can have comical blood.
Yeah, they knocked that out of the park.
They did.
My favorite was a few of the characters, if you remember from the Kill Bill movie series. Their head will be chopped off, right? And there's a delay. And then it begins to spray out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right, so closing out this year's story, health experts are warning folks that too much digging in your nose, it does you no good. For Christ's sake, you're not 4 years old anymore, they said. Man, the guy just he tears an artery loose in his face.
Just picturing a guy laying there bleeding out, and the wife is just like, I
yeah.
told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
I'm sure she did. And
I'm hoping that this changes his behavior. I mean, if he's so used to it, I wonder.
He might want to start going backdoor on himself or something. He obviously needs to put his finger somewhere. Well, you got the back door. Go ahead. But then he'll probably rupture something in there.
Yeah, that could be worse.
I don't think I could be physically attracted to a nose picker.
No, I definitely could not be.
Again, everyone has to go for it now and again, but just an obsessive nose picker, there's no way I could find that person attractive. It's kind of like my buddy whose wife laid out a 3-foot deuce in their camping, what do you call it? Their campground camper toilet. He cracked open, because he had to clean it out at the end of their camp. They got a big trailer with the toilet in there and everything.
I don't like this.
He had to clean it out at the end of the weekend, and he lifted the lid, and he looked in there. He said, well, for Christ's sake, I know that wasn't me. It was horrible. And he came back. He told me, he said, I don't think I can be attracted to her anymore.
I recommend people putting down their what is it, a crowler, or their long john, whatever that donut is. This person was riding a motorcycle next to a car, turned and looked, and noticed an old woman had a hanger pulled. She pulled it out, looked at it, and ate it.
Oh, she did it.
And he said he threw up in his helmet. And that's from Bad Wipe Jesus.
Why was he wearing a helmet?
He was on a motorcycle.
Oh, a motorcycle, yeah. Oh, no, nobody wants to see that. You didn't deserve that, motorcycle, Jesus.
The only adult,
she ate it?
She ate it.
I don't like that.
The only adult I've ever seen, and this was in a vehicle. I noticed person in the vehicle. The only adult I've ever seen eat a booger was a woman as well.
Was she good looking?
She was pretty good looking.
She used to be. All right, we're all tired of grown folks acting like little children with pissy pants on commercial airplane rides. But this was just too ridiculous not to enjoy at least a little bit. Something called an EasyJet flight was flying off to England, but they were forced to make an emergency landing in Portugal after a brawl busted out. Heard plenty of those stories. But this one's a little bit different. The brawl was one family against another, and the two families were fighting over the effing Karate Kid movie. But before you get excited, from what I understand, it wasn't as if the two families had taken sides, like where one was pro Daniel LaRusso and Miyagi-Do karate, and the other was fully on the side of Johnny Lawrence and the Cobra Kai dojo. And they started unleashing crane kicks at each other. It's not quite that exciting, but it's still fun.
Back in the day, the difference between your age and my age, about 4 years, it was made a big difference, right? When you saw Karate Kid and me.
Sure.
I remember as a little kid watching that movie, and the first thing I wanted to do was karate. So even 4 years older, was that the same with you, or at that point were you a little too mature?
Did I want to instantly try karate?
Yeah, immediately afterwards.
Absolutely not.
You didn't?
No.
No, not even the crane kick, nothing?
No, I mean, I remember liking it when I first saw it. I liked Ralph Macchio. William Zabka was great. The female in the movie in 1984
Elizabeth
was
Shue.
Very cute. I loved Pat Morita, of course, as Mr. Miyagi, but no, by the time I saw it...
You're probably in 8th grade or
Yeah, I was dialed into hockey and things like that, so I didn't give two pumps about karate.
Oh, yeah.
Now I wish it would have inspired me to get involved in karate. So all you wanted to do was go put on a gi,
yep,
and go enroll yourself in karate classes and become the most dangerous kid in the neighborhood.
I sure did.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, it was 4th grade. It was perfect timing for me.
Oh, yeah, that is right in the wheelhouse.
And yeah, we left that theater. It wasn't a theater, actually. We rented the VHS. After that, all I wanted to do was karate.
Yeah, when you're a little kid like that, you're so impressionable. And I mean, I can say this much, speaking of Ralph Macchio, 2 years prior, when The Outsiders was released, with Ralph Macchio and Matt Dillon, Patrick Swayze, Tom Cruise, Emilio Estevez, C. Thomas Howell. I've told you guys this before. When I saw The Outsiders and saw Ralph Macchio's look in the movie The Outsiders, I remember approaching my dad, who grew up in the 50s, and I took off my ball cap, and I put down a bucket of dippity-doo. What do they call it? Brill cream. I put down a bucket of Brill cream, and I said, do me. I wanted him to style my hair like Ralph Macchio's in The Outsiders. So I understand that instant impression and wanting to. And he did. He combed my hair like it was 1955, and I thought it was as cool as hell. And I even wore my hair like it was 1955 to a school dance. Couple girls thought it was cute. I was ridiculed otherwise, and I never tried it again. Two families on an airplane fighting over the Karate Kid movie. The madness started when a woman confronted a 5-year-old boy on the airplane for watching the movie too loud on his iPad. A 5-year-old, for Christ's sake. The mother of the 5-year-old, who's only 26, she claims that her son was watching with the volume set low. But the lady who originally bitched about the movie being too loud allegedly shouted racial abuse at the little kid.
Classy.
While demanding he turn down his iPad. And that's when the little boy's mother attacked the other lady, and the choking and the eye gouging cut loose on the airplane.
I would have demanded he turned it up. Let everybody listen to Karate Kid.
Great movie.
It would have been fitting if the two families knew some level of karate and used it on each other during the fight, but that would have been too good to be true. Because of all the onboard violence, the pilot had to land the effing plane. I bet pilots are tired of that crap. They're just,
I'm sure.
What people don't understand is they're trying to get home too.
Right.
Once on the ground, local police met with the families and beat the holy hell out of both of them. The reason the story has come up again, this is a year old, this story. The reason it's come up again is because one of the mothers involved in the brawl is threatening to sue EasyJet over the incident. How she thinks they are at fault is beyond me, but she's going to sue because that's what we do now. I was wronged. None of it is my fault.
We've talked about the Karate Kid spin-off series, Cobra Kai, a lot, how it started off great, it got a little ridiculous. I'm honestly surprised they didn't get to a point where they had a karate match on a flying airplane at one point.
Why not?
Because if you watch the final season, I won't say who, but a couple of prominent characters die in a yacht explosion. That's how off the rails this thing got by the end of it. It started with just some kids having a little karate tournament, and it got to yacht explosions.
All right, so people are saying, hey, wait a minute. Before you defend this kid too much, he might have been watching the Will Smith's kid, the Jaden Smith Karate Kid, in which maybe he had it coming.
Oh, yeah, that's true, I guess.
That changes everything.
That does change everything.
If the kid was watching the Will Smith version, then, yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. I mean, obviously, the racial slurs could have been left out of this, but, yeah, you don't watch that.
Oh, right here, a listener by the name of Brian says, are you sure this wasn't the Will Smith version? Because I might judo chop a 5-year-old for watching that. Thank you. That puts a whole new paint job on the story. Remember, both families were headed to England. The airplane had to land because of them in Portugal, wherever that is. Hilariously, both families were left there to make their own way home. Bye, Felicia, they said. If that's still a thing. Can I still get away with saying that out loud?
I guess, yeah. It's been so long that it's okay.
And both families have been banned, Josh, for life.
Probably the way it should go. I'd imagine that one plane being diverted screws up a whole lot of other people's day as well.
Here I thought, what happened?
It's a series of texts here. This person says, Brian is a weak name from a gentleman. I'm looking at his name, and it's Brian. And then he wrote, said Josh. Now, I didn't say that, and you can't do that to me.
Josh would never say
I don't like that bit.
No. Josh would never say such a thing. Now, here I thought the supposedly scary clown terrorizing the neighborhood bit had finally fallen out of style.
It should.
But maybe not altogether just yet. Down in Mexico, a grown man dressed as a clown was pissing folks off at a local shopping mall to the point where they had to call the cops. This was last Wednesday night. Folks said that Dinkus, the clown, was hiding behind this and hiding behind that, and then he'd jump out and scare folks when they were trying to shop.
Don't do that.
It was a pretty scary clown.
I didn't see how he was made up.
Did I send that to you, Ashley, to post?
Yeah, I posted it last week, and honestly, our website is really sucking today, so I might be able to get it up again.
God, Ashley, you just do it to yourself.
Sorry.
This clown was also aggravating some shop owners there at the mall, just being a general pain in the ass. When the cops walked in, Dinkus the clown, that's what I called him the first time around. How about this? I'll call him Virgin the clown. When the cops walked in, Virgin the clown, he ran. The big shoes didn't help. The cops caught his sad ass pretty quickly. They gave him a terrible beating. Then they wiped the grease paint off his face, saw he was a 25-year-old man under the makeup. It says here, and I'm sure a lot of you remember this, around 8 years ago, a creepy clown craze swept across multiple countries. I do remember it was one of the dumbest damn things ever. Lots and lots of people were arrested and or injured back in those days because grown adults dressing up as clowns were running around town acting like they were 6-year-olds at a Halloween party. Now, apparently, things got real bad in Mexico during the crazy neighborhood clown craze. What does it say here? It got so bad in Mexico that hundreds of legitimate professional clowns gathered in Mexico City to protest the so-called scary clowns that were pissing everyone off. And they chanted, We are clowns. We're not killers. These are the legitimate clowns. Chanted that. Water, they also. Recently in Georgia, a feller was out for a walk when he was, here we go. He was attacked by a well-dressed man wearing a clown mask and riding a tricycle. The tricycle clown hauled out a machete and chased the dude down the street like it was an episode of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You from 1970, for cripe's sake. So, although it's not as widespread as it was 8-9 years ago, the crazy clowns are still popping up by damn here and there. I don't get it.
I don't understand it either. It's not funny.
Well, I don't get what everyone was afraid of, is what I don't get.
Because I think you have to be a certain amount of unstable to decide to randomly dress up like a clown and go out in public. What are you doing?
Yeah, to scare people, I'm with you. Like
are you
nowadays,
doing,
especially, you don't know what's going on with that person.
Yeah.
Like back, there was a time where it'd be like, it's pretty funny. That guy obviously has good intentions. He's trying to have a laugh. But now I'm not so sure.
All right. Next up in our stupid news report, it sounds to me, if you want to be a New York City cop, you can be a New York City cop. If you want to bounce and shake your naked, oversized bottom in a music video, you can bounce and shake your naked, oversized bottom in a music video, but you can't do both. A New York cop, that's also kind of a foxy lady.
Oh, boy, yeah.
And also happens
Very
to have,
pretty.
and she also happens to have mad cake.
Crazy. It is crazy what she has back there.
She's in trouble over there with the New York Police Department because while off duty, she played a starring role in a rap video where she plays the role of a stripper, and she's doing what strippers do, dancing around on stage in her underwears with her ass cheeks knocking around. This is a problem. And I know what some of you are saying. Strippers in a rap video? How original. The lady, cop lady, goes by the name of Melissa Mercado. She's been a cop for 7 years, is how you say it. She showed up in a music video called Doing That by a feller named Esquire. The letter S, Q-U-I-R-E, Josh, Esquire.
I like it.
All right? And in the music video, Melissa makes that big old dumper of hers. It goes north, south, east, west, all around the world. She's up on stage in her drawers. Oh, I think what I have here. God dang it. I had some lyrics to the song, and I think I made a poor edit and eliminated them. God.
I've got the story open.
Okay, then finish this off for me, because I know I jotted down some of the lyrics to the song. You need to finish this for me. What I have here is at one point in the song, the rapper says, I want to tell you about a girl named Keisha. And then isn't there something, another line about how he wants to squash her or hit that or something?
Let me see.
I want to tell you about a girl named Keisha. And then there's more.
Oh, yeah.
And I made a mistake.
Ass thick, just want to smash it quick. She
Okay,
says,
there you go.
or he says,
Her ass is thick. He wants to smash it quick.
All right. Yeah.
And that might be all we can say out loud. But
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't listen to the music.
ass thick, want to smash that quick.
Why would you want to smash that quick? You want to take your time with that?
No, he just wants to get on it quick.
Yeah, like as soon as
all right.
possible.
Maybe then he'll take
Oh,
his
okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
That's what he means.
So the argument is, should she be allowed to do such things when she's off duty or not? And this has happened, a million times, especially since OnlyFans and all these other things have become popular. Every few months we hear about a cop or an astronaut or something who's doing porno on the side and everyone wets their pants. Some of her fellow cops are saying, go ahead.
I think if it's not hurting anybody, and I think if you're not in uniform, why not?
Well, because they say it's conduct unbecoming a police officer. That's what some are calling it. And I'm guessing you signed some type of a morality clause in there.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
I forget
Josh?
about those.
We have a morality
we do, yeah.
clause.
We have a morality clause.
Yeah, that's true. I can't do that.
Some
Not
are
that I'd be able to at all, but
You don't think you could pop that cake?
no, I don't think the company would appreciate that either.
Oh, I don't know.
The cake thing, somebody just yesterday said we brought our dogs in to get their nails trimmed, right?
Sure.
And somebody said of one of our dogs, oh, your dog's got cake.
Yeah.
And he does. He's got a big butt, but I've never heard anybody say that about a canine of any sort.
Oh, I have, because I was once an owner of a corgi.
And people
dude,
said that?
corgis
And they-
have
yes.
cute little butts. or
Corgis
big butts.
they get a lot of compliments on their bottoms. They have big fat bottoms.
And it jiggles.
When they walk, it's like you're at the canine version of Rick's Cabaret. It's just ba-boom, 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 ba-boom.
So cute.
Your friendly neighborhood garbage man, Jesus, said, morality clause brings the worst presents.
So again, some of the cops that she works for in New York City are saying, make that money. Others are disgusted and calling for her to lose her job.
She's so hot, though.
I'd imagine
Just let her do what she wants. She's
People-
hot enough.
people make frisk me jokes quite a bit to her, don't you think? Oh yeah. I'm sure she hears that often.
All right, we got to get going again. By damn, there are people out there who have monies. Where the hell are they getting all the money, Josh?
I don't know. Family money, maybe?
Along with large piles of monies, some folks also have deep emotional issues. Like this gal. She's a social media influencer. Yay, social media. She's Chinese, and she has spent $140,000 on cosmetic procedures and such so she could transform herself into a human robot.
She did a decent job.
It's really
Or
bizarre.
I should say the doctors did a decent job.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean,
If that's her goal, I mean, she looks ridiculous, but if that's her goal, they nailed it.
it's strange. Go ahead and give a look-see yourself. Take a look at her videos. Are they up on our website, Ashley?
Yes, but I have to put them to the top.
Put them to the top skis. 30-year-old gal known on the wildly uninformed social media. She's known as Dalaotion. Dalaotion? Dalaotion? I don't know how to say
That's
that.
a good try.
She's over 6'2" tall, almost as tall as Josh. She wears a metallic silver bodysuit. She looks like a transformer or something. A crazy hot transformer.
She is attractive in a weird way.
She wanders around town, and everybody takes video of her acting like a robot, and she's very good at it. Josh, did you attend the 20 and 24 Robotics Olympics in Turkey?
Couldn't afford the admission.
Oh, that sounds like something you would love to go to, though.
It says here, this lady, at the 20 plus 24 Robotics Olympics in Turkey, robot lady Dalaotion, she walked into the joint alongside actual robots, and nobody could tell that she was a human. She drinks hydraulic fluid, it says here. She poops nuts and bolts and colorful wiring. She recently terminated the Hawk-Tua girl, it says in the article here, with her robot powers. So now she gets hired to show up at different events and this and that, and she's a robot.
Good for her.
Kind of fun to have her out at an event. I mean, we've had Petey the Pea Cup. We've had we had David Lee Rock.
Petey the Pea Cup, yes, has attended an event or two.
Yep.
David Lee Rock.
David Lee Rock's several events.
Let's not forget about, and he's going to love this, Willie Water.
Yep. I was going to
love
bring up
him.
Willie Water.
I can't forget him.
Why not a $140,000 robot woman?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll ask her to come on our next booze cruise. Where we could play all kinds of games. We could constantly be lubing her elbows and knees or something to keep her.
Funny, one of us, we follow her around with an oil can.
Yes.
I don't know if she'd be safe.
Because of the possibility of falling in water?
No, she's just really hot.
Oh, that kind of safe.
I'd be afraid if she disappeared for like 5 minutes, we wouldn't find her again.
I hope people can control themselves.
She's in the
Sure,
bathroom somewhere.
That could be a concern no matter where she is.
Ashley has a dark image of the people who join us on booze cruises, apparently.
All it takes is one.
That's true.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Do you believe in coincidence? No, it was great. It was fun. When the ball is moving like that, and the mindset is how it was tonight. I think we have a very powerful, team, like a lot of depth.
Jesus Christ, wake up.
He does sound a little distracted.
My God. Rudy Gobert. Wolves put 141 points on the board last night. It just so happens to be Gobert's first game back from injury, and he wants to give himself credit for all the points on the, offensively gifted player that he is, Rudy Gobert. He did score 16 points. He did. But he's not going to, worry Shai Gilgeous-Alexander anytime soon, for the scoring title or anything. But he says, yeah, we put a lot of points on the board because I'm back. My God, how monotone can a guy be? But I do like watching him play. Wolves did put a lot of points on the board last night. They beat San Antonio. The Pigs struggling to put points on the board. Lost at home to the Pittsburgh Penguins yesterday by a final of 3-1. This time of year will kill a guy.
There's too much going on.
It'll kill a guy. With the college basketball, college hockey getting into their tournaments now, and the Timberwolves and the Pigs, and what am I missing? Baseball starting up. Football free agency. We've got so much I could throw your way coming up in a half hour when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder jump into the mix. Golden Gopher hockey lost their... What the hell happened?
Wrong button.
They lost their best-of-3 series against Notre Dame over the weekend in the Big Ten tournament. Now wait around for the NCAAs to start.
I went to Mariucci for my very first time.
Oh,
finally. Yeah, watched my first college hockey game on Saturday when they won.
They won.
So maybe I should have showed up yesterday.
It could have made a difference.
Let's be real, though. The star of the show is always Goldie the Gopher.
Always.
He's the best
I
of
love
all
him
time.
so much.
Did he raunch his nuts on the boards?
Not that I saw, but he did spin his head.
Of course he did. Every hockey game, Golden Gopher hockey game I've ever been to, back to when I was a kid, of course he's got his skates on at times and he skates around the rink, but he'll walk along the boards, the bench boards, and with his tennis shoes, and then he'll go, oh boy, whoops, and then he slips down and he raunches his balls and he tips over into the...
I must have missed it. Darn it.
We got lots to cover here in a half hour. Real quick, 2 topics we dialed into earlier. Nose picking. There was a guy in our Stupid News report who picked his nose so badly he ruptured an artery and had to be rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Florida Hockey Jesus says this, correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently hospitals will use cocaine to stop a nosebleed, he says, which is why I pick my nose. Are they using booger sugar to dry up a nosebleed?
I'm assuming that was part of the joke setup, but I wonder.
Maybe back in the day.
And we talk about a lady with a big fat ass running around in her underwear in a music video. Problem is she's also a New York City cop, so there's a big friggin' scandal going on. Should she keep her job? Should she not? Somehow then that turned into a conversation about dogs' asses. Josh, your Great Dane, walked into the veterinarian the other day, and someone said he had a nice ass.
Yeah, the groomer yesterday, somebody, like the person working the front counter, is like, oh, your dog's got cake.
Cake.
Which is true.
Corgis. We mentioned corgis have big fat bottoms. Now, one listener texted in to say some corgis know their butt is amazing and they flaunt it.
They know they're working
Seems like
with.
that. The way they look behind at you, yeah.
They do.
You seeing this?
Josh's News is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. I'm not exactly a tech genius, but I knew one thing for sure. If I wanted my small business to crush it, I needed a website that worked like a pro, and I needed it yesterday. Lucky for me, Bluehost made it ridiculously easy. With their AI design tools, building my website was a walk in the park. I could customize, optimize, and monetize everything exactly how I wanted. In just a few minutes, I had a secure site up and running. I couldn't believe how straightforward it was. And getting found online? Bluehost helped me with that too. I perfected my keywords and meta descriptions with their search engine tools. The AI even gave me suggestions to improve my pages. Now, I can sit back, relax, and focus on my customers while my website continues to rank higher and higher on Google. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, I wasn't worried about taking the plunge. And now I'm so glad I did. Head over to Bluehost.com and build something special today.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I was like super terrified, and as much as I wanted to get out of the car, I was so terrified because he's also like raging. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's capable of or anything like that. So I just stayed in my car with the doors locked.
A 32-year-old Florida man leaned way into the infamous Florida man stereotype, terrorizing a rural neighborhood, ramming fences, taking shots at dogs, and even blasting a $25,000 police drone out of the sky for apparently no reason. Authorities say Justin Kress used his Chevy Suburban like a battering ram, plowing into anything in his path. But when deputies showed up to rein him in, he set his sights on a Lake County Sheriff's Office drone, pulling the trigger and sending the $25,000 machine crashing to the ground. Neighbors had been complaining about his erratic behavior for days leading up to his arrest, but the biggest mystery is why. So far, he's kept quiet, offering no explanation for his actions.
Shooting at dogs?
Yeah, shooting at everything and running into everything.
Well, maybe we'll find out what's got him so aggravated.
A chilling note found on a Sun Country Airlines flight from the Twin Cities last week triggered a major scare, forcing the plane to divert to El Paso. But the FBI later determined the ominous message wasn't the work of a terrorist. It was a prank pulled by two kids.
The person next to me sat down after going to the bathroom and said she saw a note in the bathroom that said, "You're all going to die."
Carrying 156 passengers, the flight had taken off from Minneapolis-St. Paul International en route to Mazatlan, Mexico. Mid-flight, though, the FBI's National Threat Operations Center was notified, prompting an immediate diversion to El Paso.
People were holding hands. People were on edge. Some people thought we were taken hostage.
After an investigation, Special Agent in Charge John Morales revealed what happened. During interviews, it was uncovered the threat was a hoax, initiated, that is, by two young children on the flight.
That was kind of the scariest time because we just didn't know anything, and we're sort of sitting there. More and more people showed up, more and more officers.
Good.
You're privileged enough to where your folks are bringing you to Mexico, and that's the way you act?
Yeah, or home to Mexico, one of the two, yeah. While the prank caused significant disruption, the FBI confirmed no criminal charges will be filed.
I'm never talking to my kid again if that's my kid.
A 57-year-old substitute teacher in Florida was arrested for actively encouraging elementary school-aged kids to beat up their classmate last month. Janine White, a sub at YMCA Tiger Academy in Jacksonville, is facing charges related to an incident in which she asked and encouraged 4 students to take turns beating and kicking their peer. According to reports, the twisted teacher claimed the victimized child ignored her request to split into small groups for schoolwork. So instead of handling it like an adult, she turned to mob justice. Who in here can beat him up? She asked the class. 4 eager volunteers shot their hands up.
What? That's bogus already.
Yeah, make them fight to see who gets to beat up that kid.
Rather than shutting it down, White gave them the green light, calling on each student one by one to attack the child inside the classroom. After the brutal lineup of assaults, White pushed the victim to the ground herself, causing him to smack his head on a desk.
Police say White encouraged students to attack a classmate, even assaulting him herself.
She then dragged him by the collar across the floor before reporting him to school authorities, claiming that he had behavioral needs that were unaddressed. She denies initiating the attack, but her own students tell a different story, including one of the accused attackers who admitted to police the teacher told him to do it.
She's probably had about enough, huh?
It sounds like, yeah, she snapped there. This kid didn't want to break into small groups, and she decided he should get his ass kicked.
No wonder he didn't want to break out into groups. There's 4 other kids in that class that are willing to beat him up.
Yeah, half these people want to kick my butt. A routine weather-related lockdown at a high school in Oil City, Louisiana got weird when a 70-year-old man was arrested after an unusual attack on law enforcement, raining down bitch slaps with an umbrella. Last Tuesday morning at Northwood High School, students and staff were sheltering in place due to a tornado warning. Around 9 a.m., Gary Fenner arrived at the school, determined to pick up his grandchild. But when the school resource officer informed him that checkouts weren't allowed during the lockdown, the senior citizen unholstered his umbrella and readied himself for a weird fight. According to officials, he didn't take no for an answer. He threatened to kill the deputy before charging at him with the handheld waterproof canopy and delivering the deputy the beating of a lifetime. Even after being tased, he reportedly got back on his feet and continued to fight, but the deputy and a school resource officer ultimately managed to restrain him. He was arrested and booked on multiple charges and never did get to pick up his grandchild.
What the hell got into Grandpa?
He really wanted to get going, I guess.
Tornado stress.
Didn't want to waste that trip. A 46-year-old Faribault man accused of stabbing his neighbor multiple times was arrested in Missouri Tuesday, and the reason for the violence is dumber than most. Police responded to an apartment about 11:40 p.m. the previous Saturday after a 911 caller reported he'd been stabbed. According to the criminal complaint, the operator overheard someone in the background twice saying, "I'm going to kill you." The 50-year-old victim told police he had just reported a noise complaint about his upstairs neighbor when the suspect, described as the fat man from upstairs, kicked in his door and attacked him with a buck knife. During the assault, the suspect said, "I know who the F you are," and then warned, "Quit calling the police or I'm going to kill you." Officers identified the husky suspect through witness interviews, and on Tuesday, a sheriff's office in Missouri confirmed the full-figured fugitive's arrest.
That's not good.
He was pissed that he called the cops on a noise complaint.
Mm-hmm.
If there were an Olympic event for the pettiest neighbor, Russia would take home the gold. In a relentless bid to drive his neighbors out, a Russian man has been blasting patriotic songs at full volume from early morning until late at night every single day. Tenants of the communal apartment have been enduring his sonic siege since February 5th, when a man known only as Maxim, one of the apartment's owners, set up a pair of powerful speakers and started his musical onslaught. That includes the Russian national anthem and then the sound of barking dogs. When his not-so-polite request to buy his neighbors out was met with a firm "niet," he demanded that they sell their share. And when they refused, he cranked up the extreme measures. Now, like clockwork, the building is held hostage by Maxim's DJ set, blasting from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. When questioned by media, he didn't deny his tactics. He justified them, claiming he was just retaliating because his neighbor's dog barks too loud.
Jesus, what a child.
Yeah. And the cops haven't done anything. This has been going on since the 5th of last month.
Joke's on him. I love the Russian national anthem.
It's one of my favorites. He mixes in a few different patriotic songs.
Okay, I know every word. Well, thanks to Nikolai Volkov when I was a kid watching the WWF. I know every word.
An 18-year-old Texas woman was arrested after a disgusting act of revenge porn, playing a sex tape of her and her ex-boyfriend for an entire bar full of his friends and customers.
Oh, God, here we go.
Taylor Richard was arrested after airing the intimate video of her and Michael Bassett on a public screen at District 249 Bar and Grill last week. An intentional move attempted to humiliate her former hump homie. Bassett, the CEO of a diesel maintenance company, admitted he had filmed their Valentine's Day encounter, but only at her request, and with the trust it would remain private. But when Bassett broke up with Richard shortly after Valentine's Day and asked her to delete the video, she put it on full display at the bar, blindsiding him. One of his friends was at the scene and sent him a Snapchat about what was happening. Soon the situation escalated into a flurry of messages, teasing and name-calling, including Bassett being mockingly referred to as Mickle Pickle. But the joke soured when customers of his business, disgusted by the explicit footage, began cutting ties. I can handle my friends messing with me and whatnot. I can't handle when I start losing money, the angry Bassett said. Before her release, Richard reportedly called Bassett from jail, begging him to drop the charges.
She called me from the jail, and she was just like, "Are you going to drop the charges and this, that, and the other?" I'm like, "No, you have a lesson to learn."
He didn't budge. Instead, he warned other young men to think twice about recording intimate moments because once it's out there, you'd never know who might hit play.
My advice to other young men is just avoid taking videos and whatnot because tomorrow's promised to nobody. Your relationship is not promised to you tomorrow.
Richard,
I kind of want to make a sex tape with this guy.
Yeah, I do too. He's a decent-looking guy.
Yeah.
He was arrested Monday and she was officially charged by Wednesday with unlawful disclosure of intimate visual material, which is a felony punishable by up to 2 years in prison.
Yeah. I love that she's begging for mercy. And he's telling her to, eat a D.
Yeah, he's losing customers, which is kind of strange that they would, do that. But, yeah, he's losing customers over it.
Getting a Snapchat from your buddy, I wonder what they're up to. And then it's a bunch of people watching your sex tape.
I recognize that penis.
That sucks.
That would really, that's the way you find out.
And I know that move.
Like, it couldn't even be a text message, dude. You got to send me a snap.
Can anyone explain the poorly put together nickname? Mickle?
No.
Mickle Pickle?
I don't get that.
That's the best that bar could come up with after watching somebody.
Inside joke,
They didn't try at all.
No effort there.
A workplace feud took a sinister turn at a textile factory in Brazil last month when a 38-year-old woman poisoned a co-worker's water bottle, driven by jealousy over a promotion she thought she deserved. Security footage captured the moment the suspect tampered with the victim's drink. Moments later, the unsuspecting worker took a sip and immediately felt a burning sensation. Lab tests later confirmed the water contained a dangerously high concentration of a potent solvent, one that could have been fatal had she ingested more. Co-workers say the two women were once close friends, but that bond fractured when the victim received a promotion the suspect believed should have been hers.
Sure.
And disturbingly, it's not even an isolated incident. Just last year, another workplace poisoning made headlines. A woman laced her pregnant colleague's drink in order to prevent her from going on maternity leave, fearing she'd be left with a heavier workload.
Oh.
My gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
Your pregnancy's really going to F my week up.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a little more to do.
That's so terrible.
I'm surprised we've never had a workplace poisoning around here.
Well, we kind of did, but
what do you mean?
Not out of well, remember when the lunches were being stolen?
Yes.
And our general manager loaded a fake lunch with X-Lax.
Yeah.
She did send out a memo saying, by the way, one of them's tampered with. Go ahead, take your chances.
Yeah. Someone in the building's going to have diarrhea.
Yeah.
And when that happens, we're going to know who's been snatching up all these lunches.
For nearly a decade, an HR manager at a Shanghai tech company pulled off a multi-million-dollar scam, hiring ghost employees and then pocketing their fake paychecks.
Not a bad idea.
His scheme was so smooth, so bold, and downright devious, it might have continued indefinitely if not for one tiny, ridiculous mistake. The company's finance team noticed something odd. One employee had been on the payroll for 6 months, never missed a day, and yet no one had ever seen or met them. Not a single break room encounter, no fouling up the company bathroom, no mysteriously absent name on the birthday cake list, nothing. And that single red flag unraveled an 8-year-long con orchestrated by the very person in charge of hiring. Given full control over recruitment and zero oversight on payroll, he did what any morally flexible opportunist might, created 22 fake employees, set up phony bank accounts, and funneled their salaries straight into his own pockets. By the time he was caught, he had quietly swiped $2 million. The most ironic part was his downfall came not from a missing paycheck, a financial audit, or even a whistleblower, but from an impeccable attendance record that was a little too good to be true.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute, never missed a day of work. What's going on here? A new study from Go Banking Rates did the math on how much cash it takes to be upper middle class in the U.S., and as you can imagine, it's not pocket change.
How devastating is this news?
It's hurtful.
Yeah.
Maryland takes the crown as the priciest state to make the cut.
Maryland?
Yep. Mississippi is the budget-friendliest on the upper middle-class living. Minnesota lands at 38th in affordability, so not the worst, but definitely not the best. If you're in the land of 10,000 lakes, you'll need at least $134,000 and as high as $172,000 to be considered upper middle class.
Jeez.
For context, the state's median household income is $86,000, so there's some ground to cover. Wisconsin sits at 27th, so a little friendlier on the wallet. Our friends across the border need between $117,000 and $151,000 to claim the fancy status.
That difference there between Minnesota and Wisconsin, it's worth it.
South Dakota ranks 19th in affordability, North Dakota 28th, and Illinois is a bit more of a splurge, coming in at 34th. Meanwhile, Iowa finished 21st.
Iowa.
So if you're making between $134,000 and $172,000, you are upper middle class.
I got a lot of class, Cubby. It's all low.
Same here.
I love it when old guys say that.
It's one of my favorites.
Brace yourselves, caffeine junkies and intergalactic scum alike. The heavy metal band Gwar has officially entered the coffee business with Berserker Mode Roast. A coffee so intense it makes your heart beat like a double kick drum, and it's available as of today.
Wow, have times changed, Josh.
I know.
I never would have predicted this when I saw them at First Avenue in 1990, and I walked out of there covered in fake blood and semen. I never would have predicted these will be the next coffee giants of the world.
You picture right, like maybe a brand of meth or some sort of weed product, but nope, coffee. They say it's savagely sticky in its muddy molassesness and foul-fruited candy sweetness, a real teeth grinder roasted highest on the pyre. Their press release described the coffee's origin. It has an origin story. From Berserker's bitter tears, coffee plants sprouted across the land of Java, and thus Berserker Mode Coffee was born. A heady and powerful drink crafted to fuel his rage before battle. Historians may claim Viking berserkers were jacked up on psychedelics, but Gwar knows the truth. It was coffee that drove them to insane battle lust. The press release goes on to say the best part of getting blackout drunk is the coffee. Each sip is infused with the bitter sorrow of unrequited love and that nagging feeling something really weird happened last night. If you want to see Gwar in person, the band will be pillaging the Fillmore May 30th with Static X.
Pillaging. I'll tell you, first time I saw Gwar, I was a fully grown adult. But yet, there was a moment early in the show when Gwar hit the stage and the blood starts spraying and the fake body parts are being thrown around the room. There was a moment where I had to admit myself, oh my damn, I am afraid to be here. But I loved it.
I've just watched videos, and it makes me a little nervous. I can't imagine being at the show.
Oh, God.
But I hear it's a good time. John Hamm is 54 today. Pearl Jam bassist Jeff Ament turned 62. Sharon Stone, 67.
Sharon Stone.
Hubba, hubba. And the boogeyman checks his closet for this man before going to bed each night. Chuck Norris, who can hear sign language, is 85. And that's 93X News.
Please welcome people's sexiest man alive, Mr.
Randy Shaver.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Picked up Jarvis. Out in front. Far side. The wait is over. Moorhead, finally, the champs.
Oh, it was a hell of an operation. The boys' high school hockey tournament was mental. Everyone went home a winner except for Edina. The Edina hate still runs thick. Good morning, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome home, Randy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Josh, Randy's back from Florida.
I know, that's great. And you get some nice weather, too.
Yes, it's going to be beautiful today.
You know, we talked to your wife on the telephone last Friday. So you were...
We were driving, I think, at the time, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you were.
In the midst of your journey home, driving from Florida all the way back to Minnesota. And before we really got into the conversation with your wife, she said something like, I'm really not looking forward to driving in a car for 14 hours today.
With the general.
Oh, she called you the general.
The general.
I think she called me General Patton.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, General Patton specifically.
I don't blame her. She sounded like she was about done with your trip.
Well, yeah.
Who
Friday.
could blame her?
Yeah, Friday was a trip to Knoxville. Then Saturday we drove all the way back from Knoxville. So we were in the car for about 15 hours on Saturday. So
Yeah, she said, I'm not looking forward to 14 hours in the car with Randy.
it was tough. Yeah, it was tough.
And you won't let her drive.
No. No. Because if I did that, we would still be driving. She drives slow.
Yeah?
put it that way.
Overly cautious?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my mom, too.
That can happen.
She loves her brakes, too. Quite a bit.
Does she stand on the brakes a lot?
My gosh, yeah, the person could be a mile ahead of us, and if they brake, she's braking.
You know, some people have a knack for it, others don't. Did everyone have a good time watching the state high school hockey tournament?
Yeah, it was great.
Yep.
Yeah, got back in time to catch the last 2 periods of the AA game. It was awesome.
I didn't get to see much of it. Again, I told you last week that somehow I got boned out of Channel 45 with my current television package. But here's the deal. Here's how big the event still is. Saturday night, there were 10 NHL games played. Here in town, of course, the boys' high school hockey state tournament was wrapping up Saturday. East Grand Forks beat St. Cloud Cathedral, I think I had that correct, in overtime to win Class A. And then we played the audio of the Moorhead Spuds winning their first ever title. They beat Stillwater. Saturday night's Class AA championship game drew a higher attendance than every single NHL game played Saturday night.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And probably that number, which was over 20,000, probably if you look at all of the attendance numbers for the season in the NHL, I'm going to guess it's got to be in the top 5 or 10.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's got to be.
Huge
because,
crowds.
Yeah. Crazy.
And I mentioned the Edina thing. It's funny how there are folks who just can't let that go.
There's a video of Moorhead fans at the Embassy Suites chanting F Edina after the game.
They went as far as the F Edina chant.
Yes, and you know, if you've ever been to an Embassy Suites, you know they have like the when you walk out of your room, there's that balconies that go up and down. You know, you can see everybody in them, and so there's people on every level chanting that F Edina chant.
Are we talking
from the hotel?
Are we talking students or parents of the players? For
a little
Christ's
bit of
sake?
everybody.
Come on,
a little bit of everybody.
I love it. I love it.
There's no way in hell my parents would have been doing that at any point when I was a kid. No, they would not.
No, they probably wouldn't have.
They never got that dialed into it. No way my mom and dad are going to be hanging out on a balcony using the F word directed at any town. I mean, I get it. That's a big deal, but I would be a little embarrassed if I was 48 years old hanging out at a hotel screaming F Edina. That's just me.
Looked like fun to me. I was kind of mad I wasn't there.
I mean, Edina played in the girls' tournament, did they not? Yeah, wasn't the girls' final, wasn't it Edina and Hillmurra? State of hockey, my ass.
I'm not
Sorry,
sure.
I don't know.
I swear to someone look that up. The girls' final, AA hockey. Was it not Edina and Hillmurra? There were people at my favorite neighborhood bar screaming anti-Edina things on that night. They were doing the same thing during the state high school hockey tournament for the boys. I told you before, I fell right in line with that when I was a kid. Edina was the ultimate evil, the evil empire, all that stuff. And then we played them in, what do they call it, like a district big playoff game when we were in high school, and they were twice the team that we were. But we had the game of our lives. We beat them in overtime, and then we went back to our hotel because we were staying out of town in Wilmer, I believe. We went back to – yes, Brad Ryder. You're familiar with that neighborhood?
Yeah, I am.
Wilmer. So we were just –
yeah, Clark City's like 20 minutes from there.
We were just raging. We were so excited to take down the evil empire on that day. So we go back to our hotel room. We're ripping down beers. We're all partying our nuts off. And there's a knock on our hotel door. And I looked out the window because we're 17 years old and slamming beer and smoking drugs. I'm like, who the hell's knocking on our door? I pull back the curtain, and it's the Edina team that we had just beaten an hour prior. And I turned to my teammates and I said, the friggin' Edina club's outside the door right now. And, I mean, we didn't have an overly hateful game or anything like that.
You thought they were coming for you.
Yeah, for a split second, but but then my buddy said, hell, open the door. I opened the door and they said, hey, that was a great game. Can we come inside and drink with you guys? And we said, well, yeah. And we had the Edina team in our hotel room. We're sucking down beers, having a great time, and it totally changed my image of that whole anti-Edina thing.
Yeah, these guys aren't that bad.
There's been a quote going around online. I don't know. We might have mentioned it last week, so my apologies if we did. But they say the Iron Range hates the cities hate the private schools, and everyone hates Edina.
That's exactly it. That motto's been drug around, for years and years and years. Did anyone find out, was I right? Wasn't it Edina, Hillmurra? I guess it doesn't matter. I didn't know this about the state high school hockey tournament until I read an article over the weekend. If you go to the rink there at the X, there is and Josh knows I've been tired of this joke forever, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. There is a mullet barber at the tournament.
That made national news, the fact that they have the mullet barber there. That's pretty funny.
That's really funny.
I'd never heard of that either.
There's a cat named Andrew Weissler. I hope I'm saying his name. He offers free mullet haircuts at the Let's Play Hockey Expo. So let's look for him next year.
How do you do a mullet haircut if you don't have the hair to start with?
He'll come up with something, Brad Ryder.
Okay.
He'll come up with
He's
something.
a professional.
And what he does is all for a great cause. This Weissler guy donates his tips to the Minnesota Warriors hockey team, which uses hockey to heal veterans. So they have disabled veterans who play hockey together. And so any tips you left for this guy at the tournament, getting your mullet haircut, raises money to put these hockey games on for veterans who could use a few laughs out there on the ice. So I had never heard about that setup.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So congrats to the ball clubs, the hockey clubs who appeared in the tournament this year. Mm-hmm. There was a nostalgic vibe at the XL Energy Center yesterday as the Pigs played the Pittsburgh Penguins. The boys, they wore their throwback sweaters, and the game brought you back 15 some odd years ago when Sid Crosby and Evgeny Malkin were the two best players in the league. Crosby scored twice, if you count empty netters. Malkin had a goal, and the Penguins beat the Pigs 3-1. That snapped a 4-game losing streak for Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you, the boys are struggling to light the lamp here quite a bit lately. They've lost 5 of 7. Marc-Andre Fleury was playing in what was likely his final game against his old club. But, I mean, sure, you got Crosby and Malkin out there, but this is not a great hockey team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and still beat the Pigs at home. Strangely enough, the boys are just 14-14-1 at their home rink.
Yeah, we talked about how our home teams have struggled at home all year, pretty much in every sport, but the Wild too.
This was the first of 7 in a row at the X, and 9 out of the next 10 are at the X. So you'd think
you got to take advantage of that.
Yeah,
you would think
you said they're 14-14-1 at home, and they're 22-10 on the road.
Jeez. Yeah, best record I think of any club in the NHL on the road. But at home, they've struggled, and lately they are just not scoring goals. So you would think that this home stand could be an opportunity to gain some steam, but they got to change some things. Everyone knows you got to get the power play going. They were 1 for 6 with the man advantage yesterday. Yeah. So it's been a battle lately for the Man-Bear Pigs. Up next, Colorado is in town tomorrow night.
If they're not careful, they're going to mess around and get themselves in a playoff chase toward the end of the year with Vancouver, somebody coming up behind them in the wild card, because they're back in the wild card now. They're not in the top 3 in their division anymore.
I hear you, Brad Ryder. That game for Marc-Andre Fleury was his 1,015th of his career. That broke a tie with Roberto Luongo for second most in league history. And, of course, Martin Brodeur is unreachable. But Fleury keeps climbing the ranks in the damn record books. Ovechkin scored another effing empty netter. It's time to send an enforcer after this guy. He's making a mockery of the all-time goal record with all these empty netters. Gretzky's disgusted. You can't tell because of the plastic surgery, but he is disgusted. 9 goals now. Legitimate goals or not, he's 9 back of Gretzky's record. Notre Dame won 2 out of 3 over the weekend against the Golden Gopher Hockey Club. That was a bit of an upset with the boys playing at home. So the Fighting Irish have, I believe, moved into the semifinals now of the Big Ten tournament. Golden Gophers will sit around and wait to see where they're placed in the NCAA tournament.
Probably hurt their seeding a little bit in the NCAA tournament, I would guess.
Yeah, I would think.
Here's a hockey fan texted in on the Pigs' troubles scoring. Josh, they recommend that the fellas shoot the puck.
I've heard that.
Set the tone.
Sometimes I think they forget.
Right. They get out there and they don't know what to do.
What do we do?
And that's when the fans are important. The fans are there to tell them, shoot the puck.
Mm-hmm. Golden Gopher.
Like the youth parents in baseball yelling, swing the bat.
Swing the bat?
Exactly.
Oh, my gosh,
Right.
yeah.
I think
forgot
sometimes you
how many
forget.
times that was yelled at me.
Well, swing the damn bat, Ashley.
I'm working on it.
I mean, you got to shoot to score. You do. You got to swing the bat. My favorite ever, I think, was at the bar many, many years ago. I want to say Josh Willingham was up to the plate for the Minnesota Twins. Oh, wow. Josh Willingham.
Sure.
Although I will say, one of the most majestic home runs I ever saw. It was on television. It wasn't in person. Josh Willingham, when he was playing for the Twins, hit a bomb off of Aroldis Chapman when Chapman was pitching for the Cincinnati Reds. And I don't think I'd ever seen a baseball go that far. Because Chapman back then would throw about 102.
Right.
And Willingham got it on the fat part of the bat. I think this is still on YouTube just because I think Dick and Bert said, Jesus balls, look at that damn thing go. He just murdered. Willingham was a big stroke. Anyway, I'm watching Willingham at the Legion, and he hit a solo home run. And the dude at the bar goes, sure, solo home run. Why don't you do that when you got somebody on base, for Christ's sake?
Oh, darn. That's not good enough. Okay.
I remember people saying that of Maurer, too. Well, yeah, he hits occasional home runs, but they're always solo shots. What do you want him to do?
Yeah.
What a
Put
puke
the
bag.
guys on base ahead of them.
Yeah, sorry that those guys couldn't get it done.
Golden Gopher Ladies Hockey Club, they lost in the WCHA title game to silly Wisconsin. So, next up for the gals, they will host, now that they're into the NCAA tournament, they'll host Colgate, boy, me and Colgate, Josh, we've had a rivalry ever since I was a kid.
I know.
Anything dealing with my teeth, it's been a problem. And Wisconsin, who beat the Golden Gophers, they will play Cornell. So the ladies are into the NCAA thing. Wolves, a lot of points on the board last night at home against San Antonio.
Gave up a lot of points, too, but, yeah, you're right. Scored a ton.
141 to 124. That's 5 wins in a row now.
Gobert back last night, played 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually was pretty effective.
Mm-hmm. A lot of guys in double figures, Randy Shaver. Edwards, Reed, Randall, McDaniels. How do I say this? Rudy even was in double figures.
Yeah, Nas and DiVincenzo came off the bench last night. They started Conley at the point guard spot. And, yeah, I mean, the San Antonio team is, obviously made up of some guys that just, without Wembanyama in that lineup, they struggle. But they still gave up a lot. The Wolves still gave up a lot of points. I mean, that's a lot of points to give up in a game. But and no movement in the standings. They win that game. Things are bunching up. It's getting kind of fun to watch now because between Sacramento, who sits at the 9 spot, and Golden State, who sits in the 6 spot, there are 4 teams within 2.5 games of each other.
It's going to be a dogfight, Randy Shaver.
Yeah, and I saw Dallas finish their game with 7 players eligible to play. They have so many injuries.
Did they trade some more players to the Lakers or something? What happened?
They did not, but they've got so many injuries right now that they have to have 8 in order to play. That's the minimum number you have to have. So they're getting a guy back from the injured list to be able to get to 8 for the next game. But they're struggling, and they're still in the playoff position.
I was about to say, between them and Phoenix, it's going to be, okay, who wants this? And neither one of them looks like really want it that bad.
Well, I think Phoenix does. They just have not played well enough to do much. They're still 4 games under 500, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I keep waiting for Houston to maybe slip just enough where the Wolves or Golden State can pass them, but they're not. I mean, they're kind of hanging in there. They've won their last couple as well.
The Wolves are now 8 games above the 500 mark, which I believe is tops for the season. They had 38 assists last night, 21 made three-point baskets. It was nothing but laughs. Of course, the Spurs playing without Wembanyama. They play I've had enough of Denver over the last couple of years. They play at Denver Wednesday. Speaking of the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic had 31 points, 21 rebounds, and a career-high 22 assists Friday night against the Phoenix Suns.
God, that's amazing. Holy
First
cow.
player with a triple-double of at least 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 20 assists.
That's amazing.
22 assists were a record for an NBA center.
Wow.
He should win the MVP again.
He probably will.
Well, see, I hear everyone saying Randy's buddy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is going to win the MVP.
He should be considered, too. But, I mean, if the MVP is truly the guy that if you take him off your team, they suffer.
Oh, you could say that about Shai, though.
Yeah, but they still win.
Sure.
Without Jokic, they don't win. The Thunder still win without Alexander.
A little bit more.
If your stomach isn't upset yet, Steph Curry joined the 25,000-point club over the weekend. All right, go ahead, boys. Here we go. Steph Curry is the 10th player in NBA history to score $25,000. $25,000. There's a lot in front of me here.
That's all he's made his entire career.
Yeah. Ask Josh and Ashley if I've been stable at all this morning.
Not at all.
No. This time of year sucks. Everything's happening all at once, so I'm a little frazzled. He's the 10th player to score 25,000 points with one team.
Oh, wow.
Name the other players that scored 25,000 points with one team. I mean, that doesn't mean they only played for one team, but they hit that 25,000 point mark with one team.
Oh, I'm going to say Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone, Utah Jazz. Michael Jordan, Chicago Bull.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, Los Angeles Lakers.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No.
No. He wouldn't be. How about Jerry West?
Jerry West did not reach 25,000 points, according to what I'm reading here.
Oh, I think he probably did.
Well, according to what I'm reading here, I said.
He did.
Like I said, Randy, move on.
Wilt Chamberlain.
No.
Jerry West did get 25,000 with one team?
Yeah, he had to because he played only with the Lakers.
Well, but did I? Maybe I made another editing mistake here.
How about Tim Duncan?
Yes. This bell sucks. Everything about this time of year sucks.
Larry Bird.
No. I'll give you a hint. He'll dunk a good one on you.
He's a shooter.
He's a shooter. He's a three-point shooter.
Oh, Dirk.
Dirk Nowitzki, the German Moses.
Sure.
I'll give you another hint.
Hakeem? How about Hakeem?
Yes, the greatest player of all time, Hakeem Olajuwon. I'll give you another hint.
John Havlicek.
John Havlicek steals the ball underneath the DJ. Or whatever.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller. Was Jerry West on that list and I edited him out on accident, Josh?
Well, he's on
He
the
has to be on the list.
Yeah, I don't know if it's for sure one team, but he hit over 25.
Well,
he only played for the Lakers.
Yeah, they don't have that in what you were looking at.
Yeah,
so I could see why you didn't edit it out.
It's not my fault, Randy Shaver.
It's on the.
They didn't add him to the.
Don't you dare diss Jerry West.
I would never diss Jerry West. You said on air years ago you would open mouth kiss him if you had the chance.
I still would. I know he's been gone for
even though he's gone. I would
Was
never
John
diss.
Havlicek, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
John
I rang the
Havlicek
bell,
played
didn't I,
only
Brad?
with Boston.
I didn't hear the bell.
Sorry, I'm running a little hot this morning. Golden Gopher basketball loses yesterday. They'll be a 12 seed in the Big Ten tournament. They'll play Northwestern starting on Wednesday.
How crazy is that? Wow.
Hang the banner.
It tells you how bad the bottom of the Big Ten was down the stretch. Man.
All right, how about this now? They're calling this kid the best name in college basketball. He's a freshman. He plays for Valparaiso. He had a big game in his conference tournament against Northern Iowa, the MVC tournament. Valparaiso beat Northern Iowa, and this freshman kid, who apparently has the best name in college basketball, led his team to victory. His name is All Right.
A-L-L?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, W-R-I-G-H-T?
Yes.
Correct.
That's funny.
All Right.
Do you think they pronounce it Al, or do they go all right?
I don't know.
I tried to look it up and I couldn't tell.
Now,
I
this
like
is,
that.
and I love, we love funny names around here. I had an article in front of me last night and I lost it. It went through years and years of college basketball and some of the funny names. What comes to mind for me? God Shamgod. Another one that Abubakar Ow.
I like that a lot.
Did he not play for Georgetown, Abubakar Ow?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Here are some others that I did find. Apparently, there was also a college basketball player who played for Rhode Island whose name was Always Right.
Oh.
Then I'll tell you about Supreme Cook. Caillou, isn't that a cartoon character or something?
Yeah.
Caillou?
Annoying. An annoying cartoon character.
There was a guard at the University of Kansas City named Gob Gob.
Oh, yeah. I remember that name.
Tennessee Rainwater. Jizzle James.
That's unfortunate.
No good.
Jizzle. What would they call him for short, Josh?
Maybe just his last name. Or
Fat J.
JJ.
Fat Brooks. P-H-A-T, Brooks. Tony. George Washington III. My God. Oakland Fort. Cameron. Oh, see, you guys, you folks who want to name the snowplows Plowy McPlowface, you'll like this guy. Cameron McNamee. McNamee. Stony Hadnot. Zyterius Mortal. These are current names from what I understand. That list of old school names, I found it last night and I lost it. I wish I had it for you. But I'll always throw in Abubakar Ow.
Wasn't there a race car driver named Dick Trickle?
Well, we're just talking college basketball, Brad Ryder.
Correct.
And I don't like people that pick on Dick Trickle and his name. I don't. It bothers me. All right, Randy Shaver, when did the state of Minnesota go ahead with the shot clock for high school basketball? 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
Yep, something like that.
Now
obviously the biggest deal with that was cost because the cost of putting the shot clock in all the gyms and all the high schools. It can't just be a metro thing. It's got to be statewide. So it took a little bit of time, but I think it was about 5 years ago.
How much can it cost to put a shot clock in?
I mean, you're talking about every gym in the state of Minnesota. So.
And you see kids out fundraising for jerseys and cleats all the time.
Yeah. So
now, apparently in the state of Illinois, there still is no shot clock in high school basketball.
Oh, man.
So I wanted to tell you a quick story here. I'll make it as quick as I can. A school called Eastland took on a school called Pecatonica in Illinois.
You made that up.
I did not. Pecatonica. This is playoffs type stuff. This is serious stuff. Pecatonica, the far superior team in the regular season. Eastland knew they had their work cut out for them. So, quarter number 1, according to what I'm reading, Eastland got the opening tip and did nothing. Stood there for 6 minutes without passing the ball, dribbling. There's no penalty for this. You don't have to pass it. You don't have to do a damn thing. They stalled and stalled and stalled. The final score at the end of the first quarter was 1-0.
Oh my God.
The final score at halftime was 9-5. Pardon me, 8-5. I don't want to overdo it.
And you people say soccer is boring. Take that.
Right. The underdog ended up winning 36-31. And everyone's crediting this stall tactic. I'm telling you, the kid just stood there with the basketball in his hand, and no one moved for 6 minutes. And they kept going back to this strategy on and off throughout the ball game. They were booed out of the gym.
Yeah.
And the head coach of the team that stalled he didn't apologize for Dick Tracy.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, it's within the rules.
Sure.
I mean, I put it on the other coach. I mean, get up there and press them. You know, have a little bit of pressure.
He did
Make them move the ball.
did say, the coach said in the beginning of the game, there was no pressure. I don't know if they applied it later in the game, but it was all within the rules. The coach said, hey, our goal was to slow the game way down. Well, they accomplished that. I don't know. I would feel a little funny about it as a coach. I think I would.
Would you as a player, too?
Yeah. I don't know.
As a player, I wouldn't want to play. That's not fun.
You're trying to. I don't know. You're trying to win.
I know you're trying to win, but at the same time, I don't want to be the jackass coach who went ahead with that strategy.
It's one thing to be up in the fourth quarter and sit on the ball.
Right.
To kill the clock. It's another thing to do what this team did.
Well, then if the other team is that good, go double team the guy with the ball or something.
I'm sure they did some of that, Brad Ryder. I didn't watch the game. I just read about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's, I'm not angry or anything. I just don't think I would go that route as a coach. And I think as a player, I would want something to happen. Come on. This is the way we're going to win the game.
Gosh, yeah.
Not saying it's wrong.
Boring.
I'm just saying I don't know if that's the route I would take.
And Brad, you were wrong. They don't play to win in youth sports. You play youth sports for the chicks. That's the only reason.
Oh, sure. Okay.
There's no need to get into this right here, but I do think it's interesting that I've been saying for years that Karen Rogers belongs here in Minnesota playing for the Vikings, and now everyone's talking about it. How many articles did you see over the weekend, Josh, about Karen Rogers coming to the Minnesota Vikings?
7. I mean, Sauce Gardner kind of got that started, right?
I'll have to take your word for it. I did not click on any article that says Sauce Gardner on it. I refuse. I do not care what Sauce Gardner has to say. But, yeah, all of a sudden, all these articles are popping up, and we don't need to get into it. Aaron Jones re-signed with the Vikings. 2 years, $20 million, $13 million guaranteed. What does that do for you? You like that?
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think the running back market is going to find itself a little bit back on track after the year that Barkley had and the money that Barkley made. Jones certainly provides some stability at that position because if they didn't sign him, they would have to make sure they draft a running back in the first round or something because they just don't have a back. So,
listeners are telling me there's also no shot clock in Wisconsin high school basketball. And one individual thought that maybe one of the team, I guess maybe the team who held the ball forever in this story from Illinois we were telling you a minute ago. One listener believes that they were trying to make a statement that Illinois needs the shot clock. You know, if you don't give us a shot clock, we're going to act like dicks.
Well, that's not.
Probably not likely in a playoff game that's when you'd make that statement.
Yeah. Do you know what Wisconsin could do to fix their shot clock problem? Take all those clocks they have in bars that count down to like St. Patty's Day or something and just install those in high school gyms as shot clocks.
Oh, I don't notice those.
They do have one of those clocks in every bar.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I've never noticed that either.
Defensive end Myles Garrett staying with Cleveland. Browns gave him a record deal that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history until next week when someone else tops it.
Crazy money.
He's staying, what is it, $122.8 million guaranteed.
$40 million a year.
$40 million.
So far, he's been worth it.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams signed with the Rams. The Steelers made a trade for DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills released Von Miller. He's done, right?
They might be signing him back to a lesser deal. It was a cap issue.
Josh Allen signed a extension or something.
And that's why they need. That's why there's an issue.
Right. They need more money.
A $330 million deal.
Left-handed specialist says there's no shot clock in Wisconsin because they don't know how to count backwards.
You probably missed this because I think it happened late last week, but Geno Smith got traded by Seattle to Las Vegas.
Oh.
So the Seahawks no longer have their starting quarterback and their number one receiver. They traded both.
Well, damn.
Isn't that something?
What the hell are they going to do now?
And Aaron Rodgers is rumored to be heading to Pittsburgh.
That's not the stories I read.
Well, that's at the top of
I read about it.
ESPN.com.
I read about a team a little closer to home than that, Randy.
Well, he's got a pretty good receiver now if he goes there.
Yeah.
He can't throw the ball anymore. Tell me about this Fry Festival. I remember, wasn't this some kind of a disaster?
Fire
Festival?
Oh, I was excited. I thought there's a fry festival.
Is that one of your pregnancy cravings?
The pregnant lady has spoken.
Anything that's edible, Josh.
Was this the show from a year or so ago? It's called the Fire Festival. It was a total disaster. Nobody showed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a pretty good documentary out on it.
All right.
Scam.
I knew there was something. I knew I've heard you guys talk about it. It was a scam?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not Fire Festival 2. Not going to happen that way this time. Because, I mean, how could it be a scam when you read about the first act that they've booked
Oh, no.
for the show? Were there any big acts that played last year at Fire Festival?
I do not recall.
Okay. All right.
Well,
It was a
none of
couple
them
years
did.
ago,
Yeah.
and they never actually booked bands. They advertised them that they were going to be there, like Lil Wayne and Blink-182, and Blink-182 were like, that's news to us.
Right.
Yeah, they called it the greatest party that never happened.
Okay.
Right.
Well, this year's different because they've booked their first act, former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown.
Let's get tickets.
Yeah, he's not hosting, he's performing.
He's
gonna be
performing.
rapping.
And we've played his music
Dear Lord.
on this show before, and it's terrific.
Oh my gosh.
It's not terrific.
That guy. God.
I just hope it happens soon enough that Ashley can still travel, because there's a cutoff when you're pregnant, Ashley, and I'd hate for you to miss this once-in-a-lifetime performance.
Yeah, darn. That would be so awful.
Do you think he can put together a 30-minute set? Or
Absolutely.
For 30 minutes.
I think it's bored. He'll probably just rant up there.
Well, you can always throw in some covers. Mustang Sally. What are the when I go see a cover band, there are certain songs where I just about crush the beer can in my hand because I'm so tired of hearing cover. Mustang Sally's one of them.
maybe You Shook Me? I hear that
Yeah,
one
Shook
quite a
Me
bit.
All Night. He'll do some covers. Randy Shaver, this one's for you. Former track star, Iowa State University, for the years 1964 through 1968. Was I close?
No. Jesus. Not that old.
Former track star at Iowa State.
I wasn't a track star.
Oh.
I ran on the team. I wasn't the star.
You weren't the star.
No.
Did you run the relay?
Well, which relay?
I'll tell you which relay. The 4x200 meter.
I did at the Drake Relays my freshman year.
Okay.
Yes.
If I would have been running against you, I think I would have used this tactic on you.
No.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. Maybe you've seen it yourself, Randy. A Virginia high school sprinter suffered a concussion and a potential skull fracture
I saw this.
when her competitor smashed her in the back of the head with the relay baton during the race.
This is up on 93x.com.
Surprised it doesn't happen more often.
The girls are going to have brain damage, they think.
Brain damage?
That is
Those
so,
aren't that heavy.
so
Was it
terrible.
Done, was it done on purpose?
100%.
They think so, yes.
Sure looks
Oh,
that
no,
way.
it was. If you watch it, it was done on purpose.
Gals running this way. You know how they run.
Yeah.
Gal from the other team intentionally ducks behind her and then smashes her over the skull with the baton ski. The gal has to obviously pull over, goes down in a heap. There was an audible gasp from the crowd when this shot was delivered.
I don't understand what she thought was
She
going to
hit her,
happen
she
after
hit her
this.
more than once. She hit her at least twice, the video I saw.
Did she think that the crowd was going to, nobody was going to notice?
I
Everyone
don't think
was-
she cared.
Yeah. Just,
She wasn't thinking.
This
obviously.
was just
awful.
complete
She got
rage.
passed. Yeah, she got passed by this girl, and yeah.
A doctor diagnosed her with a concussion and a possible fractured skull-dini. The gal who delivered the blow was disqualified from the race, and I believe her entire school was disqualified
Should be, yes.
from the race.
Yes, correct.
The gal who got smoked upside the head. Well, her family claims that neither the player or the coach from that school ever came over to apologize for what had happened. That was something. Now, 3 years ago, at a Florida track meet, a Florida high school track meet, a runner was sucker punched during a race by a student who wasn't even competing in the event.
That's hardcore right there. You're that
Like
passionate
came
about
out-
your track team?
Like came out of the stands?
Apparently so.
Wow.
And punched this sumbitch right in the yap in the middle of the 4x200 meter.
And it wasn't a small guy that punched him either. I bet that hurt.
Was that something that happened at a beer party the prior weekend, Josh? Or maybe a girlfriend problem or something?
Good question. Yeah, trash talking maybe ahead of time.
Oh, my God. Make sure you check that video out, Randy Shaver. If you haven't. Oh, you did.
I'm looking at it right now, and I guess I was envisioning it being something where they're at an exchange, and but it looks like the finish of the race or something here.
Yeah, they're coming down the home stretch, and she gets passed by that girl, and she whacked her on the head a couple of times.
Yeah.
Legalize marinara, Jesus. He wants to legalize marinara. He said, well, I saw Scott Steiner do that to Sting. Well, yeah, but that was a wrestling match. This is a high school track meet, but I always appreciate those kinds of texts. Legalize marinara, Jesus. An article from the New York Post, real quick, says if you're looking for a dark horse this baseball season, how about the Minnesota Twins? And they note their three bona fide superstars are finally healthy.
Healthy for now.
Right.
Yeah, it's March.
Yeah. Well,
They should be
sometimes you're not healthy in March. I mean, the Mets just lost their catcher for 2 months.
F the Mets.
Sometimes things can happen, but
Carlos
you're
Correa,
right.
Byron Buxton, and Royce Lewis are all healthy going into
And
the
they've
season.
got 3 quality starters at the top with Ober and Ryan and Pablo. So, and a good closing.
If those
duo.
3 guys, if they do stay healthy, if those 3 guys play each 140 games plus, and their pitching staff stays healthy, they should probably be in the mix to win the division.
In a division that, honestly, is, even with the Tigers doing what they did last year, this division is still wide open.
Yep.
Still wide open.
All the Vegas books have the Twins as the odds-on favorite to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Speaking of pitching,
certainly possible.
Speaking of pitching, Yard Barker also said to look for Simeon Woods Richardson to take a massive leap forward this season.
Yeah.
In closing here, everybody, Gable Steveson won his 4th Big Ten.
Did you see him pick the guy up?
I did. I was
Yes.
Holy mackerel.
He made him look like such a fool.
No.
He picked up another heavyweight. He picked him up and walked him off the mat.
Did he dump him on that stack of dimes?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
God.
He didn't body slam him. He didn't do anything illegal, but he just picked him up and dropped him off the side
Like
of the
he
mat.
was like, get out of here.
That is so
Basically what he was
humbling.
doing. Oh, my God.
Pride of ECU High School, baby.
I didn't see it.
Incredible. Incredible.
His 4th Big Ten championship. He did this yesterday. becoming the first conference heavyweight to win 4 titles. Guess who the last Golden Gopher was to win 4 titles?
Brock?
No.
Shelton.
You got to go back to the 1940s.
Can't do it.
Vern Gagne?
Vern Gagne.
Wow.
According to what I'm reading. Speaking of wrestling, Lex Luger going into the WWE Hall of Fame with Michelle McCool, Earthquake, and Typhoon. And Triple H. Lex Luger. How's he doing nowadays? The last time I saw him on television, it was, to quote a former coworker, it was not good the way he appeared.
Does not get around very well these days.
It's a damn shame. Damn shame. All right, boys, we got to go. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, thank you very much. And Randy, again, welcome home. When you got home, did you get into your bed and just sleep for hours?
Oh, gosh. It was like as soon as we got into bed, we both were out like a light.
It was like
amazing.
someone hit the both of you with a tranquilizer dart.
Yep, it was awesome.
It's always nice.
With a baton.
Yeah.
With a baton.
Too soon, Brad.
With the baton.
Someone tranked you in the neck and bashed your skull in with a relay baton.
Pretty much. Yeah.
All right, boys, thank you.
See ya.
Right.
Coming up next, our guest will be Dr. P. Jesus. If you have a health question for him, the phone number around here, the text number is 651-989-9393. Dr. P. Jesus with his valuable advice next on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit StandardHeating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Dr. P. Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, you goofy bastards, welcome back to the program. It's 8:28. Our text number is 651-989-9393. If you're feeling funny, if you're having trouble getting around now and again, throwing up, loose stool, whatever, text in, and our doctor pal will help you out the best he can. Welcome to the show, Dr. James Parnell, otherwise known as Pickleball Parnell or Dr. P. Jesus. Good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you, too.
You look like you've gotten some sun.
Really? No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Is it blood pressure?
Are you angry?
Well, I'm always angry. No, just kidding. I have rosacea, which is like a red face sort of condition. It's kind of an adult acne. It's very annoying.
Oh,
No, you look tan. You don't look rosacea-y.
I've always thought that was pretty cute on people.
I saw sun through the windshield this morning.
You know,
but that's about
I like
it.
how Josh was like, "That's not rosacea,
Nah.
dude. You're out in the sun."
You're so kind. No, rosacea is very annoying. It's
Trust me, medical professional.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll mention that to my dermatologist that they're absolutely wrong.
My wife has it.
Oh,
but
really?
She uses some product and it went away.
A prescription or something?
You should talk to a doctor.
Yeah, I don't know. Something that
I
she
do.
gets mailed to her.
Okay, probably a prescription. Yeah, I use it's called azelaic acid topically, which is it's a dermatology prescription medicine, and it helps. It's just a very annoying thing. My dad has it. My brother, I think, has it.
Well, you wear it well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Honestly,
as long as red is how you like to look.
you look tan.
It's like natural blush.
Great.
Signs. How about we start with signs of a concussion for adults? Because Cubby hit his head earlier, and we were a little worried about him. Signs of a concussion for an adult. And one other question. Is it true that if you think they've rung their bell well enough, that they should not go to sleep? That's what we always heard. If you ring your bell, don't go to sleep because you'll wake up dead.
Yeah, I mean, the signs of concussion it varies tremendously. Obviously, headache. That's probably the cardinal one. But
anything there, Cubby?
Nope.
Change to vision, like blurry vision or double vision.
Nothing yet. No.
How do you? Well, let me test this. This is an inside
my
joke.
vision felt like it dulled a little bit, but maybe it's just dark in here. I don't know.
Quick inside joke. Let's see if your vision is still okay, Josh. How do you view me?
Positively.
Okay. Go ahead. Other signs of a
definite concussion.
Yeah.
You can feel nauseous. You can feel tired. You just, basically you just feel out of it. Memory, that's not a feeling, but difficulty with memory or orientation to, time, place.
Sure. Is it different for a child? Because when I looked this up on the internet, there were two separate categories: symptoms for a child and symptoms for an adult.
I think they're still similar. Obviously, you may be able to get a better history out of an adult.
Mm-hmm.
It depends how old the kid is, but I think once the kid is 10 or 12, they should be able to give you a decent history. The sleep thing, I'm going to look that up in between because it's something that I have definitely heard over the years. I think it's just you want someone to check on you overnight if there's a question of how severe it is. I think at this point, it's basically if you got your bell rung pretty good and you're not feeling normal, it's good to go get checked out. You don't usually need a CT scan of your head, but there are some reasons that you do. And they're looking for bleeding, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, a concussion is your brain getting rattled around in your skull. The nerves that come out of your brain get kind of stretched this way and that. And you're going to feel bad. But yeah, mostly it's just time and rest. But
what is that walking death thing? Remember that, Josh?
Yeah.
Walking death.
Yeah. Was it Liam Neeson's wife that had it? Where they take a real hard hit.
Yeah.
And then they seem okay, and all of a sudden they die.
Yeah. I don't remember what. I think, did she have a subdural hematoma?
Well, that's the right person, isn't it?
I have to look up what happened.
Sounds
to her.
right to me.
Yeah, I remember she was like on the bunny hill, fell over, seemed okay. If I recall correctly, she had a subdural hematoma, but I could be wrong. But that's basically not bleeding in your brain, but bleeding around your brain, which can cause pressure on your brain, and that can be pretty subtle. But again, that's a thing you see on CT scan.
That scares the hell out of me. That
you seem okay.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, concussions are. It's frustrating because obviously it happens a lot. Almost always it's going to be okay as long as it's relatively mild. But there's a very standardized assessment these days in terms of doing a physical exam, taking the history, and then the recommendations. The sleep thing is really, I think, just you just don't want to go to sleep and not have someone around checking on you.
Check on you here and there. Appreciate it, Dr. P. We were worried about Josh a little earlier. I think you're fine.
Yeah, more than anything, it was like there was like a sharp piece of metal. That's the part that hurt the most.
Ouch. Yeah, I would say you're probably less likely to get a concussion from that just because it'll sort of dent your head more than slow your head down.
People are texting in saying Bob Saget died from a lick to the head and then he went to sleep and died. I don't recall.
Yeah, he took a hit to the head.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
On the
headboard of the bed.
He did? Mm-hmm. I'll be.
Oh,
Veteran,
really?
Veteran Jesus said he hasn't had a solid poop for years after serving overseas in Iraq.
Oh.
And when he has to go immediately.
Huh.
And then all caps help.
How many years?
Yeah, I don't have any other info than that.
Son of a
That is not a way to live.
I mean, obviously, I would think you would really want to go in and be checked. Having been in Iraq, I'm not sure if there's anything there that's particularly common that I can identify. But having your stool having a stool study.
That's yours.
Whose stool is it?
Yeah, that's stool for sure.
Oh, hey, that's not mine. Having a stool culture and trying to see if there's any parasites or something, because
I'm thinking bugs.
I mean, if if it has nothing to do with that, then did you say how old? Well, let's see, Iraq. So, boy, he probably is older then, right?
Maybe you can get back to us and tell us more.
I mean, boy, there's so many things. Thyroid problems can cause diarrhea. There's all sorts of. There's ulcerative colitis. There's Crohn's disease. Those tend to have not just loose stool, but blood in the stool. There's a thing called microscopic colitis. Some of those are identified on colonoscopy. So if he's 50,
Code Brown 24/7 covered.
Or even 45, he should be getting this checked out to have a colonoscopy too. But
Boy, that Crohn's disease, we worked with a guy who had that, and that was no joke. No joke.
It is no joke. Fortunately, there are some really pretty amazing medicines now that have come out. I don't know, maybe the last 10 years that really do modulate the immune system and can get it under control without having to be on prednisone. A lot of those people with ulcerative colitis had to be on high-dose prednisone, which is a steroid, it's a great thing for conditions in the short term, but having to stay on it long term, you get kind of bloated and you kind of go crazy, you don't sleep.
I'll tell you what, the dude who had Crohn's that we used to work with, I gotta say, I don't think I ever saw him sprinting for the bathroom, but you could hear it from across the room.
Especially when he was stressed.
You could hear his stomach
gurgling.
And this may not have been related. I just always assumed it was. During stressful meetings and whatnot, you could hear his stomach burr, that kind of thing. I always thought it was related, but I don't know.
He might have had some irritable bowel too.
Dude.
The old Ibs.
Did you ever see him running for the bathroom?
Just when they laid him off.
Oh,
Veteran
my
Jesus
God.
Ouch. Said, true story. Veteran Jesus said 42 years old, healthy otherwise, no blood in poop, LOL. So that's the response here.
Okay.
Does that change what you're thinking at all?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think getting in to talk to somebody, again, having, it's called stool culture, and for ova and parasites, O&P, and probably the doc would just need to look up Iraq and see if there's any other odd things that maybe need to be screened for.
Sure.
But if you have persistent diarrhea for years and you don't find anything treatable with, antibiotics or antiparasitics, then usually a colonoscopy to see what's going on.
All right. While we're in that general neighborhood, ask Dr. P. This next text message begins. I started taking Ozempic for my diabetes, and it gave me the worst gas ever. Is there something I could take for that? Have you heard of that as a side effect?
Well, so Ozempic is one of the GLP-1 medications. Does that sound familiar at all to anybody?
No.
Yeah.
So it's, this class of weight loss medicines that are also, some of them can be, most of them can be used for diabetes and or weight loss. Some of them are approved for one or the other.
Right.
But Ozempic, what is it called? Mounjaro, I think. I don't know the brand names. But they, so that's what a lot of celebrities are using these days.
Right, I've heard the stories.
Yeah. But they are notorious for having a lot of gastrointestinal side effects.
Oh.
So
all those types of drugs?
All of them. They affect. They do a number of things. They do some endocrine things that can kind of help curb your appetite. They slow gastric emptying. So if you eat, you hopefully get a full sensation quicker because it's sort of sitting in your stomach. But it does slow down transit through the intestines too, so people can get constipation or even, severe constipation, bowel obstruction, things like that. So the doses started very low, usually for a month or two, and then gradually increased. So gassiness is what they said.
Yeah.
So again, it may not be a big deal, but it's definitely important to talk to whoever's prescribing it for you to make sure that they know that's going on.
Go to a social event, you're walking out of the room every 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't sound worth it to me.
So yeah, if you see a thin person leaving the room, that's probably what they're on.
What, you just dose them? Just forget about it? Just dose them and let them deal with it instead of walking out of the room?
Right. But it's, I think a lot of people who are on that need to be on sort of things to help prevent constipation, like healthy fiber diets.
Okay.
Maybe some Miralax, which can kind of help move things through.
Wow. So you look great. You've lost weight, but it sounds like kind of a battle to keep everything evened out.
I think, people struggle with it at first, and my understanding is it gets better a few months in. And it's an area that has just exploded in the last couple of years. This category of medicine, some early ones have been around for 10 years, but the early ones didn't quite have as much weight loss. So yeah, it's opened up a whole world of
sure,
and they're hard to get because
everybody wants it.
Everybody in Hollywood is on it.
When Ozempic, I thought that was for people who had diabetes.
It is.
And now some people with diabetes are like, hey, I need that. And
Right.
I can't get it.
It is a problem.
That's the story I hear. 2 pumps and a squeeze. Jesus texted in to say, I like modulating my immune system. My farts are auto-tuned now. I'm not sure what he means by that, to be totally honest with you, but he said fart, so I went with it, Ashley.
Yeah.
I just went for it.
I get it.
More espresso, less depresso, Jesus. How would I go about stopping having heartburn every morning and throughout most of the day?
I was just asking Dr. P about this
Oh,
off
were you?
air, yeah.
Yeah, I know you're dealing with it right
How do I make it stop?
In the morning and also throughout the bulk of the rest of the day.
Yeah. It's...
Is it that coffee he's drinking, espresso?
There's all sorts of things it could be.
Yeah.
I guess it's, part of the question is have you been having this for a long time? Is it new? Have you changed your diet? How much alcohol do you drink? What makes it worse or better? If you're overweight, it's more likely. There's all sorts of. If he's pregnant, like our friend Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
But there are good over-the-counter medications that can be used. Ideally, you just use them for a couple weeks or a month and try to get things to calm down inside your upper intestinal system. It's the stomach, esophagus that are giving that sensation. And it's just, if it's in kind of a chronic state of irritation, it's hard to recover from it. So Zantac is sort of a brand name of a older medication that can be helpful. Medicines like Prilosec they're not new, but they're a newer and stronger type of medication. Again, they're all over the counter these days, and you can take those for a couple weeks and see if it's feeling better.
Ashley, some people say that milk will help heartburn.
Yeah, I've tried that.
What have you tried?
It's not doing the job. Milk.
You've tried milk?
What kinds of milk? Just regular milk, like skim milk?
Regular milk. Regular milk, because chocolate milk can make it worse. Have you guys ever had a GI cocktail before?
A GI cocktail?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's the best thing that's ever been created by
Does that
science.
stand for gastrointestinal?
Yeah.
Yes,
And it has, is it called lidocaine in it?
It does.
Yeah, so it like numbs and cools your throat when you have acid reflux.
Okay.
And it's literally just the best thing ever.
Would you say, Dr. P, that heartburn is a young person's issue for the most part? Because I always talk about how I had bad heartburn when I was like 23 to 27, and then it went away, and I almost never have it. And whenever I tell that story, a lot of other people say, oh, yeah, it beat me up when I was young, too, and then it subsided.
That's interesting.
That's the experience I've had, at least.
Most people I know are old.
Because we're eating terrible things, we're drinking and falling down and having random encounters with women.
It may be.
That gives you heartburn.
Yeah, and you get heartburn from that.
When their boyfriend shows up in the morning, you got to get out of there.
It's the stress.
Right. It is. I think it probably is different reasons for an adult.
Okay.
A young adult, there is probably more behavioral. For an older adult, it may be more of a chronic condition.
Okay.
What were we just saying? Oh, the GI cocktail. I mean, that's something that's used like in urgent care or the emergency room. If somebody comes in with pain and you're sort of saying, is it their heart or is it their gastrointestinal system? A GI cocktail is liquid Benadryl with Maalox and sometimes with a little bit of lidocaine, which is an anesthetic. You slug that down. If the pain goes away immediately, that would suggest that it's in your esophagus or stomach. It's not diagnostic, but it's helpful.
Can you buy this over the counter?
You don't.
Tried.
We don't really recommend treating with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
mixing that with gin some night out in the fish house or
You
something.
have no. I've pleaded with them. Like, can I get some?
You
to
want it
take
real
home,
bad.
I mean, you could
please?
use
Yeah.
some Maalox, which.
All right.
Yeah.
I've been so lucky. I had it once. I can't believe how miserable it is.
Heartburn.
I feel for people.
You've only
who-
had it once?
Just once.
Same
Wow.
here.
That I got a combo of that and acid reflux.
You went to Chipotle 3 times a day for 7 years, and you've only had heartburn once?
I have a cast iron stomach.
I
for the
guess
most
so.
part. It was just one time, and it was absolutely miserable.
Even with your 2 liters of Mountain Dew
Yeah.
every morning.
That's
I think I've
impressive.
made myself immune.
Probably, yeah.
You have.
Hi, everybody.
Dr. P. Jesus, welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X.
Yeah, Dr. P. Jesus is up in this pig, and we have a few more questions for the guy from our wondrous listening audience. 651-989-9393 is how you can reach us via a text message. Dr. P, I'm not sure what to make of this. I'm a 22-year-old male. I've been working out for years, and I want to pursue enhanced bodybuilding, in parentheses, steroids and stuff. What steps should be taken to do this the right way?
Call your brother?
I eat and train right. I have done blood work in the past, but not recently. Is this individual asking you how to safely take steroids? I'm not sure what to make of this.
That is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It appears that way.
I will admit I am not familiar with any safe way to do that. I mean, it's not. I would say it is not. It's certainly not a standard treatment in allopathic Western medicine, which is what I practice.
Dude, that was impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's there's all sorts of reasons not to do that, but I guess if you're committed to becoming an enhanced. I mean, they always use steroids in enhanced bodybuilding.
I've never heard that said out loud before. Enhanced bodybuilding.
Like, are they allowed to? Anyway,
You've heard of that, Josh?
No, I'm just assuming he means drug enhanced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus just.
I think. So my advice would be don't do that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, I guess try to seek out somebody who knows what they're doing so that you can do it sort of safely. But I mean, it just. Yeah,
that's kind of frightening.
It is.
Don't hurt yourself, dude. You're 22 years old. You're a young kid, man.
Yeah,
I'd have second thoughts if I were you.
I think it really can send you and your body down a pretty bad path.
Well, I can tell you, my father-in-law, he passed away before I knew him. He was only 45 when he died, and they said that was partly related. He used steroids since he was a teenager, and
Yeah.
it tore him apart.
No, it does. I mean, it's again, I mentioned prednisone before, which people with ulcerative colitis can end up on or used to before all these new medicines. It's a catabolic catabolic instead of anabolic, so it doesn't build up your muscles, but it also has tremendous side effects. And yeah, I mean, steroids, they may build muscle, but they do accelerate heart disease and I think deterioration of your whole body. I mean, it's sort of
F
a
that.
shooting star gonna burn bright and fade fast.
Don't do that, kid.
Yeah, I mean, did Arnold Schwarzenegger do?
Well, they say HGH. They claim both he and
I'm
Sylvester
sure he was
Stallone.
sprinkling that on his.
I'm sure it was everything
on his Cocoa Puffs.
I would think there's no way to be like that. So.
Oh God.
Another gym-related question from Vacation Jesus: what can I take instead of ibuprofen every day for inflammation? I'm fit in my early 30s. I've been taking it every day for about 5 years.
Anacin.
I mean,
steroids?
That's yeah, right. Let's connect the last two people. I mean, I guess I'm wondering what he's thinking he needs it for. If he said he's healthy.
Inflammation, he said.
Oh, I mean, what's he talking about there?
Oh.
I mean, I'm not sure what he's perceiving as inflammation. Like, truly, does he have swelling of joints and things like that? I mean, if you have true swelling and heat of multiple joints, you could have rheumatoid arthritis or something odd going on. If it's just sort of aches and pains related to working out, it's not necessarily inflammation. A non-ibuprofen alternative for pain is Tylenol. It's not an anti-inflammatory, but it helps with, minor aches and pains just as well as ibuprofen. So that, I guess that would require a conversation. Like, what makes you think you're having inflammation?
You ever heard of GERD?
I mean, that's gastroesophageal reflux
Oh,
disease.
we already covered that. Someone texted in and said, I have GERD.
A lot of people in my family have that.
Okay, so we talked about that already.
Yeah, over-the-counter medicines to try to take care of it. If it's persisting or worsening, then go talk to your physician.
So you would say, Ashley, you and members of your family would say that GERD is not the word.
It is not.
No.
That is not the word, dude. Not at all.
Here's a person with ears that have been ringing for a few days. They have bad allergies. They don't know if that's related or not. Just throwing it in there. Any relief? Is it tinnitus? What do you pronounce that?
I've always said tinnitus, but
Tinnitus. Sorry, they say they've never had that before.
I would suggest not getting it. It's not fun.
Yeah. It's possible, I guess, that allergies could do it. I mean, people will start to have allergies this time of year when snow is melting. There's mold under the snow. So taking some over-the-counter medications, Allegra, that kind of stuff, which are non-sedating antihistamines, is probably the simplest thing to do. It's hopefully something that will be resolved quickly. I mean, if you have a little bit of fluid basically in your eustachian tubes, that can cause a little bit of pressure in the middle ear, which could give you some sense of that. But truly, tinnitus is because of problems deeper in the auditory system. So it's usually related to noise exposure.
That mold under the snow.
The mold under the snow is definitely something that I think a lot of people react to.
Anyone taken the dog for a walk lately?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the dog out for a walk yesterday, and once we got her back in the house, she smelled like she had been chained to an unfinished basement floor
It's just sort of,
for the last 5 years.
It's a raw, rank smell.
Yes, it is.
I should follow up with the concussion question. Where was it?
The question about falling asleep?
Yeah, well, that too.
Okay.
Basically, that's sort of myth. I mean, it's not, you can sleep, and it's really just that people can't assess you when you're asleep. So having someone around to check on you, make sure you're breathing, is a good idea. But you can sleep. And Liam Neeson's wife, Natasha Richardson, did have an epidural hematoma. Or subdural hematoma.
Hit her head.
Wait, epidural? Subdural?
We don't know the difference. Epidural, subdural?
Subdural. I thought it was subdural hematoma. But so basically she had a little bit of delayed bleeding around the brain, caused pressure, and that is something that can happen. And it can happen a couple days later, I believe. So that's the thing. If you have a concussion, there's sort of the symptoms you worry about immediately that require evaluation potentially, but over the next couple days, you do want someone checking on you regularly.
I don't like it at all.
What? The
I'm gonna
idea
go
of
crazy, dude.
Of hitting your head, walking around for 2 days, and then you die?
No, Josh.
What? What about Josh?
Stop.
What?
Could you guys really not hear that?
No.
I could hear
Really? I heard all 3 times.
Oh,
The
you should have
first
been able to
time-
hear that for sure.
First time, I thought I was going crazy.
I just did it for a second, just so people go, huh?
Do it again. Oh, I heard that.
I literally don't.
You don't? You got to get your ears checked.
Dude, go to a doctor.
Yeah.
There was a high-pitched noise like we all had tinnitus.
Yeah, that's
One more
10,000
time,
hertz.
one more
You should
time.
be able to hear that.
One more time.
Here we go. Hold on.
I really don't.
Are you serious?
I think these headphones are actually a little funky.
Fascinating.
Oh, surprising.
I sound different to myself.
I hope I
than
didn't make
normally
any
do.
dogs bark.
Wow. I don't know, maybe it's the headphones, or maybe you've got...
You want to try mine? Well, actually, you know what? Forget it. People are probably going to
Okay, yeah.
I was wondering why you were writhing in your chair over there.
Yeah, I
Ashley.
can't
I
do
didn't
it.
notice it at
I
first.
mean, maybe I need to get my hearing checked.
I guess so.
You definitely should have heard that.
Oh.
Dr. P, thank you very much.
What?
Oh, no. Okay. Thank you very much for always being helpful with our listening audience, and we'll see you in a couple
you're
weeks.
too kind. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
great to see you, buddy. Smoking weed, Grandpa Jesus. Text the Luther Bloomington Kia text line to wish a happy 41st anniversary to his smoking hot wife. Happy birthday to Hazelin, turning the big 01 over the weekend from Kelsey and Royce, a.k.a. That's What She Said, Jesus. Happy birthday to Bitch Bang, turning 22 from part-time electrician Jesus. Happy 50th to Ryan from the wife, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.